Good morning. We're going to try this once again. There's nothing more irritating as a content creator than something that's supposed to run a certain way based off how you previously set it up and it malfunctions during your time of need. It's unacceptable. But all seems to be running well. Reset everything, the router, restart the computer, reopen the application, everything. So yeah, a couple things. First of all, again, happy Memorial Day. Just to clarify, for those of you who don't know, Armed Forces Day celebrates those who are currently in uniform, like myself, active duty, reserve guard, those who are actually serving currently. Veterans Day honors those who have previously served and gotten out and are most likely and hopefully still in the land of living. And of course, today honors those who have died in the uniform, Memorial Day. Something you should take seriously. Obviously, those of us in uniform, we celebrate the free food and what have you, the various different events, and your local CrossFit gym might be doing a Murph workout. Murph simply being, I believe, is like a mile run, 100 pull-ups, 100 squats, 100 push-ups, and another mile run. We have all these different events that celebrate, Memorial Day, but when you actually think about it, someone died, at least one. And of course, historically speaking, thousands have given that ultimate expression of love, which would be sacrifice, in my opinion. So yeah, we honor that. We honor that. But yeah, really want to go live today. Like I said in the previously failed stream. Really been trying to pump out vlogs. I'm still in 2019, believe it or not, in terms of vlog footage. I have so much vlog footage. I haven't posted a single vlog from Alaska. Amazing. One-man team, one-man band. It's a lot. And of course, it takes a lot of planning and discipline, and I don't like just to pump out stuff. If you haven't noticed or not, this channel previously had close to 1,000 videos on it, and now it has roughly almost 400. Because I had to go back through and weed through a lot of just the cringe, the unfounded, aspirational, inspirational, motivational stuff that was just kind of stuff I knew but had no experience in, had no grounded reality in. And a lot of that stuff's good. A lot of that motivates people that have no context, but for someone of my flawed nature, someone who seeks wisdom, someone who likes to be right, historically speaking, I prefer my videos last 20 years in terms of relevance, in terms of accuracy. And so just to pump out a lot of motivational stuff, it worked back then. But as I watch a lot of my old stuff, and now a lot of my old videos are in a place where I kind of allow it in its current state. But listening to a lot of my videos, it was just cringe. It was just straight cringe. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Like, and of course, you're in the beginning stages and you're motivated and, you have all this energy and you got to put it somewhere. And that's great. But when it comes to actually having an impact on people, I prefer my stuff has some substance to it. It's one thing to listen to drill rap and you get hype and you take it to the gym and you move some weights, but it's another thing to have some substance, some Kendrick. At times you hear Drake, touch on some stuff, and then you hear J. Cole, really bring it home. So it's different. But yeah, my goal is here is to always bring value, whether it be entertainment. I'm very pleased with my current style of vlogging. As you guys know, I use a lot of slow motion. I love slow motion, really, to see a single moment and engage with every single frame of it. I choose my frames very wisely. I shoot a lot of my scenes that I'm shooting, I'm driving at the same time. And again, disclaimer, I don't advise anyone to be driving and vlogging at the same time, but it's something I've come to do and learn how to do. I won't say it's perfect or it's not flawed, because again, you shouldn't be vlogging and driving, but it's something I do. But yeah, slow motion allows you to have a lot of shakiness in your footage. It allows you to kind of just pan and see things. And of course, the autofocus from Sony allows you to have great autofocus, and you don't got to sit there and try to manually focus things. And then, of course, previously I used to use the Yi 4K, which is a GoPro equivalent, where everything's in focus, and you lose that depth of field. And like you see how this shot, it's dynamic in nature. Anyway, before we go on tangent, a couple things I want to talk about, and shout out to DJ Academics. I've come to enjoy his content as a streamer. And of course, I don't watch his like he does like streams for like 4 hours long sometimes. I'm not watching 4 hour stream, but I watch a lot of his clips, and I notice how he runs his streams. He just talks about stuff. He interacts. It's like a conversation with the chat. Shout out Jeans Lafitte. Was good. He interacts with his chat. And I'm coming to enjoy that dynamic that, it's more of a conversation instead of just a straight up monologue. He's talking back. Shout out to R Blaze for the super chat. My guy, I appreciate you, bro. We'll get to the comments in a second. I promise you I'm going to come back and read everything. But again, thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, DJ Academics, I'm going to be stealing a lot of his methods as far as how a stream runs and how my stream, I'm going to incorporate a lot of his methods in. First, let's just talk about the super chat while it's here. My boy, much love. Appreciate you, man. What does Raymond's workouts consist of? I do mostly compound movements. Compound movements. I use machines, but my ultimate goal is functionality of my body. I don't want to age like everyone else. I want to keep my strength. A lot of my studying, especially in regards to, I believe it's Dr. Ted Naiman. A lot of his philosophies that he puts out there as regards to fitness and health and nutrition, it's high protein, heavy lifting, flexibility. And that's what I aim to do. So today's workout will probably be chest. And I'll do mostly bench. I'll probably spend a good 30 minutes on the bench press, flat bench press. I might do a little incline, might do a little dumbbells, but typically I'm just spend the bulk of my time on the flat bench, putting weights in the air, up and down. You feel me? Like just moving weights. Mike Rashid calls it, what's he call it? Overlifting? Yeah, it's something comparable to just muscle failure. You're just constantly putting weights up. Constantly, like add on more plates, taking plates off, putting plates back on, taking plates off, where you're exhausting that muscle group as it should be used with you in conjunction with your shoulders, with your triceps, using everything together as it's designed to be used. Now you have these isolation movements where you're isolating the shoulder or you're isolating the pec, and of course you do that for growth purposes. But functionality requires everything to work together. It's why you see a lot of issues like with the what's it called? I need to slow down. This caffeine's on 10. Before I go on a tangent, yeah, compound lifts. So on chest day, I'll be doing mostly bench press. If it's a push day, I'll add some shoulders, which would simply be overhead press. If it's leg day, obviously I'll be doing mostly squats, leg press. What else we got? Back, we'll be doing bent over rows. Obviously you got to stabilize your core. Like it involves a lot more muscles to do a bent over row. I don't do deadlifts as often. Deadlifts are just, my lower back is a mess. And so you're not going to catch me doing a ton of deadlifts where I'm just, unless it's like a deadlift Friday where, we got some boys in the gym and, we moving weights. Yeah, we're not be doing deadlifts too often. We will do like straight leg deadlifts or, maybe the hex bar, who knows? But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how I do most of my workouts. I do accessories, but mostly it's going to be compound lifting with, a few accessory movements to get a little growth. Because, when I pull up, you got to feel me. You understand. So, yeah, great question. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Much love. You're always there to support. You're also a member of the channel. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you. And then, of course, who else we got in here? Jeans Lafitte. Hey, thanks for the great content. I was wondering if you could answer a question. When I was young, I lost a fraction of my left finger. So my question is, does that disqualify me? Short answer is I don't know. Short answer is I don't know. I've encountered multiple individuals in the military currently that are missing a finger, half a finger, even those who are missing half a leg, an entire leg. It's not uncommon. There's something called, what's it called? Why is everything escaping me this morning? It's probably because I'm usually doing live streams post-workout. So it's different to do one before the workout. But it's basically the warrior games where those who have been injured in line of duty or dealing with, an invisible injury such as one of the mind, they operate in like these different games. Like you have like augmented or like, adjusted volleyball or, wheelchair basketball, things of that nature. You have archery. But yeah, you'll see members like that who are active duty, who are still currently in the military, but are dealing with an injury. Now, it's one thing to be in the military and have an injury than to have an injury before you join the military. So that being said, the short answer to your question, I don't know. But a missing finger is a lot different when you're sitting at a desk than when you're trying to pull a trigger. So it may limit you from, with the jobs you might be able to get. It might limit you completely as far as disqualifying you. But again, what I always tell people is try. I always tell people to try. Effort is the one thing that you can control. You did amazing by asking a question. That's the start of finding an answer, is asking a question. Beyond that, the answer is out of your control. The truth is beyond your control. Your effort is completely in your control. All you can do is try. You can show up. You can go talk to a recruiter. You can say, listen, I got this issue. I can't hide it. It's going to be known. But, obviously, the Air Force is different than the other branches. You're not pulling triggers, in most cases, like unless you're security forces where that's your job. But again, MEPS, the purpose of MEPS is to disqualify you from jobs. And then if it doesn't completely disqualify you, it's to limit you from jobs that they know you should not be in based on what you bring to the table. So I hope that helps. I understand it's not a perfect answer as far as yes or no. It's not a definite answer, but effort is the only thing you can control in the situation. And I try to give effort in my answers as far as giving a well-rounded view of your circumstances. It's not the best answer in the world, but that's where we're at. So hope that helps. That's what I was talking about. DJ Academics. Yeah, he really just hops on. He'll be on the stream for like 4 hours, people. This man will be on the stream for 4 hours and will just rant. Back and forth, like he'll just ask the chat, yo, give me a topic. And like they'll just spam the chat with, whatever they want to update on. He'll bring 6ix9ine in. 6ix9ine is a controversial figure. I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of 6ix9ine, but he's an interesting figure. Like I'll sit there and watch his Breakfast Club interviews, and I don't know. He's different. I've recently become a fan of drill rap. King Von, rest in peace. Lil Durk, Pooh Shiesty. The boys out there in I don't think they're all from O Block, but they're out there in Chicago. But yeah, it's an interesting community that I honestly didn't know existed until I really just kind of did some research. I'm like, bro, there's a whole community out here of a different kind of rap that most people are just not tuned into. I did not know that they're rapping up exactly about what they're doing. In a lot of cases, confessing to murder. Like, it's just wild. They're actually confessing. Like, I'll watch these, I believe his name is Bruce Rivers. He does reactions to, the drill rap songs. And he'll be like, he's a criminal lawyer, board certified. And he'll sit there and just react to their music. And be like, yeah, they confess to this right here. You get some time for that over here. And then they got guns over here, but you're on parole, so you can't be doing that. So you're going to take it out right there. He'll just sit there and like tell them how much time they're about to get. It's just wild. But it's interesting. It's interesting. The internet is by far the most entertaining piece of technology that we've ever had. So I don't know. But yeah, let's talk about the playoffs. For those of you who are not huge sports fans, and again, if you have any question in the world, throw it in the chat. Throw it in the chat. But yeah, playoffs. A lot of you guys know I'm a Lakers fan. I wasn't happy when LeBron came to the Lakers. Still not happy he's here. I would rather have a losing franchise than have LeBron crying to the refs and sitting on the sideline injured and doing too much. And now Anthony Davis is out. Lakers tie the series 2-2. Where do we go from here? People? I don't see the Lakers going out in the first round. It doesn't make sense to me. LeBron historically has never gone out in the first round. He's played every playoff game historically. We don't have any evidence that would suggest that he would go out in the first round, but I don't know. The Suns, they different. Chris Paul been balling out. Shout out to my guy, Ian Betran with the truth bomb. Yeah, I don't think LeBron's the GOAT. Now, I will say this. I will consider having the conversation that LeBron's the GOAT if he makes it out the West and beats whoever makes out the East, which I'm guessing is going to be the Nets. That's a whole conversation about the Bucks just swept the Heat, the team that beat them last year in the bubble. The Bucks are looking different this year. Jrue Holiday is a major improvement. He's different. I'm telling you. I don't know. I want Giannis to get his. I want Giannis to get him a ring. He got the 2 MVPs already. He couldn't get it this year, obviously, because we got 2 last years and you didn't do nothing in the playoffs. I'm mad my boy Russ is taking L's. Yeah. The playoffs are interesting. I don't watch complete games. the games are just too long. I don't have the, I don't think I have the willpower to watch someone else make money for like 2 or 3 hours. No, that's too much. Now movie, that's a different case, but anyway, yeah, Lakers struggling. AD's out with another injury. I don't know how these injuries are just piling up like that. It's ridiculous, but it is what it is. But historically, LeBron's done it before. He's led dusty teams to the finals, albeit he was in the East. Dusty, cast with him. You can't even mention the name. You don't even know the names of the people he's taking to the finals. Like Darius, like who are these people? Like he could have took me to the final. Bro, I would have brought. Bro, and hear me when I say this. I would have brought 7, 5, and 2 if LeBron just put me in the corner, drive to the basket, dump to me in the corner. I give him 2 threes a game. That's facts. That's on everything I love. You put me in the corner because your boy's up here with it. You feel me? So I don't see LeBron going out in the first round, but hopefully AD can get over this injury. I don't want to see the Lakers lose, but I'm just not a LeBron fan. I don't want him catching Kobe. That's my biggest, Kobe in my book. Of course, it's an emotional argument that I think Kobe's the GOAT. I don't have the stats to back it up. There are no stats that back it up that Kobe's the GOAT, but it's my emotional argument. It's the one time I get to be emotional. There's no rationality in it. There's no metrics behind it. Kobe is my GOAT. Will always be. And the only argument I have left, it's sad to say, the only argument I have left to defend Kobe is that extra ring he has on LeBron. If LeBron ties it, I'm not going to have much left. And then if he passes Kobe, and again, if LeBron comes out the West, beats the Suns, beats whoever, all these other teams, you see the Nuggets they're kind of treading water a little bit. Damian needs to find a way to get over this hump. Yeah, if LeBron comes out the West and beats whoever comes out the East, we have to have the conversation. We would have to at least acknowledge the fact that this boy is running over teams that has no business running over. I see the Nets coming out the East. They're supposed to come out the East. There's no reason they don't come out the East unless Giannis just goes off because, again, something Nick Wright always says on First Things First. I've grown to become a fan of Nick Wright, although he's a LeBron fan. And we can't have that. But you just kind of see how the Nets really don't play defense against bigs because they don't have any bigs by definition. Blake Griffin's like 6'10", and he's not defense like that. And KD plays D, but he's like 225 or whatever. No, he's not guarding nobody like Embiid or Giannis. Nobody's guarding Giannis anyway. And I mean Embiid's right there too. So it's just something to think about as far as whoever comes out of the East probably deserves it because they earned it definitely. So we'll see. But if LeBron wins the finals this year, I will have to have the conversation about, all right, LeBron been putting in work. He's leading in almost every stats category, especially in the playoffs. He's been in playoffs more than probably anybody that I've ever followed. Yeah, it's amazing. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm happy the Bucks swept the Heat. The Heat had no business in the finals last year. Had no business there. I don't know what they were doing. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. It's an interesting year for the NBA. And so we'll see how it goes from here. In other news, Rory Maul have a new show, if you will. I watched a little trailer of it yesterday, and I'm not gonna lie. It was funny as hell. Just kind of see how they addressed a lot of different tropes and a lot of things that Joe said. It was funny. How they just kind of making light of things that hiding the detergent, and it was hilarious. Searching for a job. DJ Academics always calls them workers. It's the most hilarious thing. I promise you, DJ Academics is probably one of the funniest people. Not on purpose. He just talks, and being from Jersey, New York, also Jamaica, all those different cultures combined into a fast talking, angry. It's highly entertaining. He's one of my favorite people to watch, especially in regards to streams. I don't watch a lot of people streams like that. So to watch someone just kind of go off for hours and hours, and there's endless amounts of content because he has these people reposting stuff. This stuff is amazing. So of course, I plan on adopting a lot of his stuff, like not being so structured in my streams. And we're gonna talk about this topic, and then we're gonna juxtapose it to this in the Air Force, and we're just talk, man. Anyway, so yeah, I'm very interested to see what Rory Maul do. Obviously, I believe they have a non-compete in their contract with Joe, so we'll see how that goes. If they take some else, Maul talking about he don't take his boys to court. I'm like, bro, I don't mean Joe might take you to court, but yeah, you're playing games with contracts and whatnot, and contracts being proof of distrust. Anyway, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. What else we got? Let's look at who we got in the chat, bro. Once again, show a little bit more love to this right here. MJ over LeBron. I don't completely agree because I think Kobe's the GOAT, but LeBron's definitely not the GOAT as we currently sit. We'll see how this year goes. Raphael Guzman asks, who do you think will face each other in the finals? If LeBron makes it out of this series, I will pick the Lakers against the Nets. Because just watching the way the Nets playing, first of all, the Nets can afford to lose a whole superstar, and they still stacked. I would like to see Nets and Lakers. That would be a great series. I would probably watch that entire series start to finish, like every single game. That'd be a dope to watch. Historically speaking, that would be probably one of the best games or best series to ever watch. If I had to pick someone to win the finals, seeing how AD is going back and forth with injuries, LeBron just came off an injury. I'm very hesitant. And hear me, there are a couple of athletes that I'm very hesitant to bet against. One's LeBron, like LeBron, Mayweather, Tom Brady. I'm very slow to pick against these type of players, just because historically speaking, they're flawless. They're great under pressure, with the exception of LeBron in 2011. Of course, everybody can get touched. Everybody gets got at some point. Everybody has to pass the mantle at some point to someone else. But yeah, Mayweather, I'm not betting against him. I don't care who he's going against. I'm not betting against him unless he switches weight classes. And even then, you can't touch the man. Like you can't touch him. So yeah, it's those type of things that I'm very hesitant to bet against LeBron. But the Nets are deep. The Nets are deep. You can't guard KD. You have no personnel that can guard KD. James Harden is shiftiest out here, and then Kyrie is just shift team. Like, what are you gonna do with Kyrie? You can't guard the man. Like, and it's something I always think about. Like, if I ever somehow miraculously made it to the NBA, it will be a rough. The anxiety I dealt with in Alaska with my job as a resource advisor. Imagine the anxiety of every single night in the NBA, you got one of the best point guards to ever play the game. This is the era of point guards right now. One night I got Dame. That's an L. Whether or not I score or not, that's an L. I got to guard Dame all night. I got to pick him up at half court, if not a little bit before. Next night I got Steph. That's an L. Got to pick him at 94 feet. Next night I got Russ. What are you gonna do with Russ? Next night, I got Kyrie. At 6'2", first of all, I got to get way faster than I am currently. And I have like no agility, no lateral speed, and barely any up north and south speed. I could not imagine having to guard somebody at my position. I can't guard nobody else. I can't guard a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I'm stuck at 1 and barely that. Next night, I got Kyle Lowry. It's a tough night every single night to try to get my little million. So, yeah, I don't know. The NBA is a very dangerous place. You see the L's that people take. They talk about, oh, he pushed off or I tripped or none of that. I got Chris Paul. It's just no. So my talents are safest at the local Air Force gym where I pass out buckets to those who are overweight and those who are barely passing PD tests like myself. That's where we belong with our talents. Our jumper remains pure in our squadron. Anyway, great question. Yeah, I'm going with. Let me answer your question directly. And you didn't ask it, but who am I picking to win the NBA Finals? I'm gonna say the Nets. They're just too stacked. It's almost wrong to pick against them. KD, Kyrie, James Harden, Blake Griffin, Jeff Green, who's probably one of the most slept on fours in the league. Like, this man is timeless. The man's old as hell and still collecting names, going upstairs on people. He's probably one of the most slept on fours in the league right now. Yeah, the Nets are deep. They're not dealing with injuries currently, although the entire season they did. The Big Three only played 7 games together. Like, that's crazy. They're probably going to end up playing more games in the playoffs than they did in the regular season. That's wild. But again, they're talented as hell. And then they're also gifted physically. I don't know. But yeah, I'm picking the Nets. Probably in 6. And we'll see. What else we got? Mamba mentality. There's only a couple players that I see in the league currently that have Mamba mentality. Russ is one of them. Giannis is one of them. Dame shows great potential with that. Who else got it? It's only a handful of people, because it's not something that really just shows up on your numbers or shows up every single night, but it's a mindset of, I'm gonna go out trying. Like, I don't care who takes this last shot. I'm taking the last shot. I don't care if I airball. I don't care what happens. I'm taking this last shot. Jimmy Butler showed it last year, but this year he looks dusty. Yeah, Giannis, Russ, Dame. That's about it, low key. I mean, Kyrie shows great promise, but he doesn't have this. I don't know what's wrong with him this year. Kyrie looks different. He's acting different. I don't know. Here's a off-topic question, but I enjoy these. Do you play any other musical instruments besides piano? I played saxophone in high school. I played organ. I don't know if you heard of the B3 Hammond organ, C3, A1. There's different variations, but it's a Hammond organ. You see these mostly in churches, but in rock bands, you see them in jazz clubs. The Hammond organ is probably my favorite instrument to play. It has 2 stacks of pianos, or piano keyboards rather, and then it has the baseboards, which you play with your feet. And I absolutely love playing that thing. I haven't played one in some years. I can't remember the last time I played a Hammond organ. But yeah, hopefully we can change that. But yeah, I played Hammond organ. I played saxophone in high school, well, middle school rather. Obviously, I played piano, played drums. Drums is probably one of the first instruments you learn, especially in a church community. The drums is probably, everybody takes a turn learning drums. And a lot of us, especially in high school, like we grow up, beatboxing, whatever. So it translates quite well to the actual drum set. So yeah, great question. What else we got? Little bro, I see you. That's just fire. Hey, appreciate you. We try to. Well, one thing I'm a huge fan of, and is why I make these videos like this. I sit in the rule of thirds. Like, if you take the screen and you set it up and you split it in 3 parts, according to the cinematographers and the laws thereby, it's best to record. It looks better in the rule of thirds, where I'm sitting off to the side, and then you put something nice in the other 2/3 to make it kind of, it's fancy, whatever. So it's something I enjoy setting up. It takes a lot of intention, because I don't like to just go live and got stuff in the background, got trash sitting there, where like you got to clean the place up. You got to make sure that everything in the shot is in order. And so, yeah, I enjoy that part of, video making. Same thing that happens like in a vlog, where, it's more run and gun. You don't have a lot of time to devote to setting up a shot. At least I don't. I record everything in slow motion, everything in 120 frames a second. But things like lighting and having things in the backdrop that are slightly blurred out, and having the aperture set just right. You don't want everything completely blurred out. You want to have things slightly out of frame, slightly blurred out, what have you. Yeah, it's dope. And yeah, I enjoy that part of vlogging, and especially when it comes to streaming, I enjoy setting up a nice backdrop. So appreciate you. Ian also says Brady is defeating Father Time. It appears that way. For whoever bet against the youngin, the Chiefs, they lost their money, because you don't bet against the GOAT. And I mean, that's someone who, I don't think he has any competition, as it relates to who's the GOAT in the NFL. I don't think he has any competition. Was it like 7-3 in the Super Bowl? Yeah, no competition there. Ian says, if the Nets don't win it all, it will be a severe underachievement. I agree. I don't want to agree. And they actually kind of, because I'm going to talk about the Clippers. The Clippers about to take this L, man. The Clippers about to take this L. It is, so one of my favorite shows to watch is Undisputed, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. I promise you, on everything I love, it's probably the most funniest thing to watch is to see Skip going in on LeBron and Shannon just defending him the whole time and going back and forth. But last year when the Clippers got put out the playoffs after they were up 3-1, that series of videos from First Things First to Chris Broussard to Undisputed to Stephen A. Smith and them, all that stuff was it was the most hilarious group of videos that I go back and watch those consistently, because just seeing the people that all year said the Clippers are the favorites, the Clippers gonna do this, the Clippers have the best team, they got all these dogs on their team, and then to see them get whooped, and then now this year, it's not looking good. The Mavericks about to hand them L. Nah. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So, just like the Nets, if the Clippers don't make it at least to the Western Conference Finals, underachievement. If the Nets don't make it to at least the Western Conference Finals, whether they win or lose, it's underachievement because you got too much talent. Now, the Clippers are kind of dusty in terms of how their team is built, but nah. Western Conference Finals or nothing. You're like number 2 or 3 in the East or in the West rather. You got to at least make it to the conference finals. You don't have a single banner in your doggone basement of the Staples Center. You need something up there to decorate with. So, yeah, we'll see. Hiram says he's bad at basketball. Hey, listen, there are a lot of people just like you, boy. A lot of people like you that suck at basketball, but it's okay. It's okay. They usually have to run into me at some point, and they take this out. By the way, if you're watching this, you cannot guard me, just so you're aware. I always like to put that out there so people are not surprised. I've been meeting a lot of subscribers here at Canon. It's always fun to meet those who watch or whatever. It's always dope, especially like those that I promise you it's the same look in everybody's face of that. You look for me. I'm like, you've been watching, bro. I see you. It's always a pleasure. What else we got? Again, if you got any questions, throw it in a super chat, throw it in the chat. We'll get to it, promise. Sebastian Sturm asks, know anything about Sear? My recruiter's pushing me to do it heavy. I'm pretty sure. So Canon is an interesting base, and I promise you I'm going to answer your question, but I have to mention this. Canon is an interesting base that our deployment bucket does not fall in with the rest of everyone else. We're falling to ASVAB, Air Force Special Operations. So with that, our deployments are different. Our deployments are basically kind of based on the need. It's supply and demand. We need somebody over here. We need somebody to deploy with special operations. We need to supply with the special tactics unit, whatever. And we just pick some. All right, we need a paid agent. Go. We need a staff. We need a 5 level. We need something. Go. And so our normal buckets of deployments don't happen on that same schedule as the rest of the Air Force. With that being said, I might be going to SEER in the coming months or so. I know I had a TDY schedule for June, and that's still kind of up in there whether or not I'll be going to that, but it's like a 4-day TDY out in the desert with, a fancy unit, whatever. It'll be interesting. And of course, I'll say what I can say because I don't plan on blowing the whistle on nothing. But we'll see. But as it relates to SEER, I might be going to SEER. SEER is survival training for those of you who don't know. And they teach you to be evasive. Anyone who flies on an aircraft, no matter what your job is, you will have to go to SEER at some point to learn how, in case, God forbid, the plane goes down, you have to learn how to survive long enough. You have to learn how to evade the enemy and how to behave when you're in the enemy's possession. So all those things will be taught at SEER. And then, of course, usually when you go into SEER as an actual AFSC, you become an instructor of SEER. I've heard good and bad things. I actually went to a job fair that actually had a SEER table, and I spoke to the guy. He had like a table full of gear and knots and different maps you got to learn. And yeah, it's different. I don't have an opinion on it because I've never gone through it. I've only had a couple conversations and I've only observed it, slightly. But it sounds interesting. I don't know how to advise you as far as whether or not to do it. But again, 4-year contract, 4-year contract. Also, I would ask about the cross-training ability out of certain jobs. That's one thing I don't mention enough on this channel, is that certain jobs you cannot just up and leave just because you're in a cross-train window. So again, if you sign a 4-year contract, you can cross-train in usually 24 months. If you sign a 6-year, it's 59 months. Well, not every AFSC is going to allow you to just up and leave, especially if you re-enlist. If you re-enlist, you're pretty much stuck unless your career field's overmanned. And there are some career fields that are overmanned. I know medical group just had a recent transition to Department of Health, DHS, essentially. So some career fields, they're trying to get rid of people. I'm like, all right, we got enough people. We need to move some people out. But yeah, if you're in a 1 Alpha, if you're in a flying AFSC, the ability to leave that AFSC is probably going to be quite difficult. There's going to be some friction there if you're even able to leave at all. So that's something to keep in mind. SEER might fall into that boat because I believe they are critically manned. So if you do take that job, just be mindful that it may not be easy to leave it. Even if you want to cross-train, even if you're in your cross-train window, you might not be able to, because if they're critically manned, they're be holding everyone they can get. And they're trying to get people in, and they're trying to hold them there and say, yo, we need this position manned. We can't afford to just have high turnover rates in this one career field. So be mindful of that. If you don't want to, if your recruiter's pushing on you, it's one thing to be advised all right, this is what you need to list, versus, hey, you want this? You want this job? It's two different, means of communication. So just be mindful of those type of things. SEER, it sounds interesting. I know you have to kill a rabbit and a bunch of other stuff, and be out I believe it takes place in Washington State. So this time of year you might be able to get away with murder, but during the winter, anyway, anybody got time for all that? Quick update on Alaska. Alaska is still having snowfall. On everything I love, people, I will get out the military before I go back to Alaska. With the exception of if they send me to Anchorage, J-Bear, Joint Base, Elmendorf. I'll go there, and I'll deal with the winters in a city. But I'm not, the interior of Alaska, Fairbanks, Clear, Fort Greely, which is Army base, or Fort Wainwright, Army base. No. I will call everyone in my phone book. I will send an email to everyone in the global emailing system to avoid going back to the state of Alaska. Anyway, we're grateful that we're in New Mexico. It's beautiful weather down here. The hail is different, and the thunderstorms are amazing. I love them. But yeah, I'm grateful to be here. Anyway, what else we got? I don't want to talk about Alaska too much. Alaska needs to stay where it's at. Jordan Craddock asks, I know this might be personal, but how long do you have until your contract is up? And will you re-enlist after? My contract is up in roughly a year and some change, a year and a half. I believe it ends in August 2022, something like that. And I don't plan on re-enlisting. So something most people don't know about is that when you're a first-term airman, you have the option, and pay attention to this, you have the option to what's called extending up to 48 months. Is that right? Yeah, 2 years. You can extend up to 2 years for assignment, for a cross-training opportunity, for deployment. You're able to extend. By no means am I a personnel expert. I'm not a subject matter expert on this topic. But from what I know and from what I've heard and read, extending removes your first-term airman status. First-term airman status allows you to cross-train with a lot less strings. First-term airman status allows you to turn down orders to a place you don't want to go to, as long as you're a first-term airman status. That essentially means that you have not re-enlisted yet. The second you re-enlist, you lose your first-term airman status, which also means you lose a lot of different options that you once had. So, perfect example. I'm not going to mention his name, but my boy, he's stationed in DC. He's also finance. He got orders to Canton as well. Well, it might not be a perfect example because I'm not sure if he really re-enlisted or not. Anyway, the point being is that if you re-enlist and then say you get orders to Fairbanks, Alaska, you say, what, I do not want to go to Fairbanks, Alaska. I'm not going to Fairbanks. I'm going to cancel these orders. Well, essentially, you're getting out the military. You just end your career at that point, because once you turn down orders after you re-enlisted, you're coded. Put this person out because they're here for the wrong reasons. I don't know why they're here, but this is the military. We need people that they're going to move when they're told to move. If you're a first-term airman and you get those orders to Fairbanks, like my brother, he got orders to Alaska. He turned them down. It doesn't affect him because he's a first-term airman. Again, first-term airman is before you re-enlist. I'm still first-term airman. I have not re-enlisted. I have not extended yet. But when the time comes, I'm going to extend 4 to 8 months. I believe you're able to extend twice. So you're able to extend up to 4 years total, 2 years at a time, 4 to 8 months at a time. And then you're able to keep your first-term airman status. That allows you to cross-train, that allows you to cancel orders, that allows you many different more options than if you would just straight up re-enlist. You pretty much, now you're what's called a career airman, and now you're kind of stuck with that. So long answer, but it's a lot of information a lot of people don't know about. Re-enlistment should happen after you've extended your max amount of times, and then if you really want to stay in, you know, you're at your 10-year mark or 8-year mark, whatever, and then I'm gonna make a career of this, then go ahead and re-enlist. Cool. A lot of career fields have different bonuses attached to it. That's something that you really won't know about until you're probably operational. So don't make a decision based off bonuses. Don't make a decision based off how much money you can possibly make. Make a decision based off who you are, your makeup, your options, obviously, as far as your ASVAB and MEPs are concerned, but also what you like to do. Try to find something close to something you would enjoy, because it's still a job. Some jobs are mission essential. Some jobs are rain, snow, sleet, tornado, hurricane. We need you at work. If you're guarding the base, you're showing up to work. Simple as that. If you're finance, you can telework. I can work from right here because I'm finance. So keep those things in mind. But yeah, I don't plan on re-enlisting just yet. I do. A lot of people ask me, do I plan on staying in the military? Do I plan on doing 20 years? As I currently sit today, right now, yes, I plan on doing 20. But we'll see. We'll see. So hope that answers your question. What else we got? And by the way, I love personal questions. It's always a lot of YouTubers kind of sit behind the veil and just kind of this mystique and the unknown and what do you eat for breakfast? The same thing you eat, like coffee, and that's about it. Cake sometimes. What else we got? Where did I lose my spot? All right. Sebastian Stern, I'm king of thinking. I'm not sure what you mean. Aircraft metals to get into welding after my 4 years. It's not a bad thought process. Seems like a smooth transition. Wadner asks, what advice would you give a guy in his late 20s to pass BMT tech school, and how to deal with those immature 18, 29-year-olds you will be interacting with? So something I have to address is your premise is slightly flawed in terms of assuming that all 18 to 29-year-olds are immature. You're probably going to be more right than you're wrong, but it's the wrong mindset to enter with, because it's going to skew all your potential relationships, all your potential opportunities, all your potential allies, friendships, relationships, personal and professional, will be skewed as long as you're coming in thinking that this entire age range, which probably makes up the bulk of the military, is all immature. You're probably right with probably maybe the 18, 19, 20, 21. You might find some immaturity there as it relates to wisdom, as it relates to having experience in a given environment. But I could easily call you immature, being that I've been in the military for 4 years and I see your mindset as a civilian coming in. I could call you immature. So it's a matter of perspective. It's something to think about. But advice to passing BMT in tech school: if you're older, if you have experience, that means you're moving immediately into a position of leadership. And I don't want to make this a cliche answer of, oh, we're going to lead and there's followers and there's blue and you're just going to serve and you're going to serve your country and you're going to do what you can for your country and Uncle Sam needs you. I'm not doing all that. Leadership being you have experience, you have the ability to mentor someone, you've gone through some things, you have some life experience, you've paid bills before, you got your own car, you got bills, you got a family. You might have some experiences that these 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds may not have. This is an opportunity for you to show love and say, listen, let me be patient with these other people who are embarking on their career just like I am. They're going through the same stresses that I am. They're coming from their situation. It's all they know. Their stress, it's relative to their experience, to the amount of time they've been on this earth. They just don't know. So it's not for me to sit there and just point the finger at them and say, all right, you're immature. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have a license. You can't drink. You can't rent a car. That's all. It may be factual, but how can you help the situation? How can you benefit from the situation? How can you network with them that you're going to need one day? Because again, you're all coming in with the same rank. So these are your peers, whether they're 18 or 29. Your peers are coming in with you. These are the same class of individuals that if you guys all did 20 years, you will all retire at the same time. These are your work peers, your professional colleagues. So it will behoove you to network as best you can and say, let me help them where they lack an experience. Let me help them there. Where I lack an experience, they can help me. Where if I don't, it's something I'm learning as a new supervisor, that it's not my job to father my troops. It's not my job to teach them about, hey, that tattoo looks stupid, Brad. What are you getting? Like, shout out to my boy, I ain't gonna say his name. But yeah, he gets tattoos like every other week. And again, I'm not getting no tattoos. Like, I don't plan on at least. But it's who am I to say, Brad, you don't be getting no tattoos, Brad. No, you don't need to do that. No. It's not my job to try to be his friend. It's not my job to try to understand him in every single facet. It's my job to help guide him in the Air Force community. And of course, just be approachable as a human being and try to help where I have experience, I can help him. And where he has more experience than I do, as far as maybe he's more social than I am, maybe he gets along with everyone, and I want to get along with a couple people, it's an exchange of value. And that's how you need to see everyone around you. Basic training, tech school, you're exchanging value with the people around you, and you're all trying to get to the same place. You might as well work together. And as soon as you start nitpicking and saying, all right, well, they suck over here, and they ain't got no discipline, they over here laughing and joking around, and I'm trying to graduate, and help them. Help them. Because most people are not getting disqualified for being immature. Most people are not getting disqualified from the Air Force for being immature. They expect that. And the fact that you expect that means you have wisdom, the ability to foresee an outcome. You see that they're immature, bring your wisdom, bring your experience to bear and say, I can help them in these areas. You're a leader. You're a leader. So hope that helps. Really focus on mindset. Basic training is not going to be hard physically. At least for the Air Force, it would not be hard physically. It may be somewhat stressful. You might have to overcome some things. You might have to stretch. You might have to practice on your running and push-ups, sit-ups. Cool, all that. But the purpose of basic training is to get your mind. The purpose of basic training is to get your mind. And so if you already have an advantage on people, meaning you have life experience, you know why you're coming to the military, you know the value of the military, you understand, all right, I got to pay these bills, I got to support my family, I want to travel a little bit. Use that to your advantage and say, all right, I can help these people in these areas by doing the following. So hope that helps. Change your mindset. Cyber Slays Gaming says, it's a nice house. Appreciate you. You guys want to see a tour, become a member of the channel or my Patreon, and you can see a quick little tour of the place. This is, I believe I mentioned this before, this is my first one-bedroom apartment. Everything before this, I've either shared a kitchen or lived in the dorms, or this is my first one-bedroom it's really a duplex. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's way over my BH. It's like $400 over my BH. So I'm paying out of pocket for a lot of this, but I'm telling you, my energy remains level when I'm able to come home and I feel energized to see what appears to be luxury, quality environment. So yeah, definitely love this place. My boy calling me, Brett. I called you like 10 times. Anyway, I have to call him back. Appreciate everybody joining the stream. Got any questions? Got any comments? Throw it in chat. Anything you want to talk about, throw it in there. What else we got? By the way, I do want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting. Matter of fact, I do have a question that somebody dropped in on Buy Me a Coffee. And for those of you who want like specific videos, if you want your own personalized video, that's the way you can do that. Is the first, I believe it's first or second link in the description essentially. Buy Me a Coffee, just list whatever topic you want, and yeah, I get that video out. So this one we got, what is life really like living overseas versus stateside? And who was that by? I don't know. But yeah, matter of fact, let me just tell my answer. uh, So, living overseas, I've only lived in 2 overseas locations by the definition of Air Force. One being Abu Dhabi, UAE, United Arab Emirates, and the other one being Alaska. Alaska is considered overseas, and if you really think about it, it is on the other side of a country called Canada, which is unacceptable on many different levels. Um, Living overseas is probably the best experience I've had in the military. More specifically, I'm not going to talk about Alaska. I made too many videos about Alaska. To hell with the state of Alaska. Um, Beautiful state, but no, there's no time. But Abu Dhabi was probably the best 6 months of my life. Definitely turbulent, definitely wasn't easy every single month of my 6 months there. But I enjoyed seeing a different culture, a different way of life, a different normal. People that live there, walking around the malls, again, their malls smell amazing. You guys see I'm burning incense, which we need to start this back up because I require a certain level of ambiance in my presence. So let's get that going. But yeah, Abu Dhabi was amazing. Just kind of like one fond memory I had was walking through the malls there. And again, incense is why I burn incense now. Is just their malls smell amazing. Like their approach to sanctuary, their approach to having a certain scent, just kind of fill the entire wherever you're at. Just the entire place smells amazing. It's something you never forget. You never see a mall again the same after you go to a mall in the Middle East and the entire mall smells like, I don't know, it's amazing. And so, yeah, I have a whole new appreciation for the Middle East. A lot of people think about the Middle East in a way that is just, for lack of a better word, it's kind of ignorant. And I mean, it's not really your fault because a lot of people just never been. A lot of people just think, it's a war-torn area. I mean, there's some truth to that, depending on which region you're in. But once you go to, especially like a place like Abu Dhabi, I mean, it's a tourist location. You visit like the Grand Mosque, and I went to this 5-star resort out there. It was amazing, but it's something you don't think about as far as the Middle East is beautiful. It's peaceful. It's quiet. It's like a regular base. Like me driving off base here at Clovis, it's the same thing in Abu Dhabi, except you're in a deployed location. So yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I enjoyed. Obviously, went to Dubai twice. You wouldn't consider that deployment, but I was deployed while I went to Dubai twice, legally, ethically. Like didn't break any rules by doing so. Going to their gas stations, going to their regular stores, and like just seeing how they live their life, like going to the mall and going to their food court and seeing families sitting there minding their own business, doing what they have to do, mind their own business. It was an amazing experience, just to see other people living their life in a different country, and they have no clue that this black guy, 6'2", overlooking I'm like tallest person walking around the mall, and seeing this tall black guy, and they have to know what's he doing here. Like obviously it's a tourist location, but still, you got the same buzz cut. You've seen all these random people walking, women, just all these people that they're not from here, but yet they mind their own business. They're peaceful, and it's something you don't forget. It's something you don't forget. There's a part of me that wants to go back to the Middle East. A strong part of me that wants to go back. I don't talk about politics on this channel. I don't talk about racism like heavily on this channel, but there wasn't a hint of racism out there. Amazing. So yeah, I miss the Middle East. I miss it. Dubai, obviously one of my favorite cities in the world, probably top 5 behind New York City, Miami. I don't have a lot of experience overseas personally, so that's something we're addressing with this cross train, hopefully, because I'm trying to become a load master. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, should be dope. So yeah, let's talk about Alaska a little bit. Alaska is still technically overseas according to the military. It wasn't all bad. The winter, we don't want to talk about the winter. The winter was horrible. I will not ever step foot back up there without a truck, 4x4 mud tires, V8 only. It's different up there. It's above Canada. It's a 2-hour flight from Seattle. And again, it wasn't all bad. It's a slightly different culture because, again, you're not surrounded by people like that unless you live in Anchorage. It's just not a lot of people in the state of Alaska. The bulk of people live in 3 major cities: Anchorage, Juneau, and Fairbanks. And Fairbanks is like the size of Clovis. It's like a size of a regular military town. Juneau is not accessible via car. You have to go there by boat or a plane. And then Anchorage is like the only normal city with a Best Buy and multiple malls and Walmarts and Trader Joe's and what have you. So yeah, living overseas was interesting. It was interesting. I definitely plan on doing a lot more. I want to get stationed in Germany. I'm trying to go there next. Germany, Korea, Japan, the UK. In my 20 years, I'm trying to hit all of them. All of them. Honduras. I'm trying to get all these weird locations that just have like airstrips that you don't really know exist. That's where I'm trying to go. I just touched base with a guy. He has a podcast here at Canon, and he's I don't want to give too much away, but he's security forces, but he's a special team within security forces that is probably comparable to special forces that a lot of people just don't know exist. I didn't know existed until I went and joined that unit and said, wait, what are you, bro? And like when I Googled it, I'm like, bro, you're a special, like it's special forces within the security forces. It's called a dagger, or dagger, something like that. DAGRE if you want to look it up. But it's a special team that is used to, anyway, it accompanies planes basically, but they're there for security and, they do a lot of escorting, what have you. But it's a small team, and they're experts at what they do. And so, I plan on having them on here. Hopefully just be able to interview and just get a new perspective on security forces. A lot of people don't know exist. That not everyone is scanning IDs at the gate. Not everyone is doing that. Some people are special, like there's special forces within the Air Force, within the security forces. So something to think about. Great question. What else we got in here? Wander asks, is it possible to be a cook or dentist assistant or work in intelligence, cybersecurity without a bachelor's? I don't want to be an officer. Yes, all the above. All the above. And I know someone in every single career field you just mentioned. I know dental assistant, shout out Dusty Thomas. I know someone works in intelligence. I'm not going to mention her name. She's got the base and just got her top secret and works at Fort Meade. It's a lot. And I know somebody in cybersecurity. I know plenty of people. I used to be in the same building that trained, especially in relates to tech school. I was in the same building that all the cybersecurity people lived in. And I know somebody, multiple people that are currently operational in cybersecurity. So yeah, all those are possible. You don't have to go officer, even if you have a degree. I always say you should go to degree, or you should go to officer if you have a degree, get a return on investment, but that's your personal decision. So what else we got? Little doggy, there is no specific topic. We're just talking. Any questions you have, drop it in the chat. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want, perspective on, throw it in there. We'll probably stay on for about another hour or so, and then I'm going to the gym to lift something heavy. Why did you choose not to re-enlist? So first of all, the opportunity to re-enlist has not come up yet. But again, as I previously mentioned, you might want to scroll back a little bit. Re-enlistment removes a lot of different options that you would have as a first-term airman. So I'm not going to go all the way back into that, but yeah, if you want to rewind it, and I'll be posting a separate clip of what I talked about in that clip. But yeah, essentially, you want to extend before you have to re-enlist. I'll leave it at that. You can go back and rewind it a little bit. Here's interesting. This is running rampant in my squadron right now. Any advice on investing in the stock market while in the Air Force? What should I do with my stocks while at BMT? That's a good question. That is a good question. I never thought about that in that vein, because obviously, those who are tracking GameStop, AMC, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, everyone, it's all the rage. Everybody's on Robinhood and Fidelity and Vanguard and all these different platforms, buying and selling. shorting and trying to take advantage, and the hedge funds are doing whatever they want to do, and we gotta take the power back. Cool. As long as you're aware of the risk. Warren Buffett always says when you invest in something, first of all, you never invest in anything you don't want to know everything about. And secondly, when you're buying something, you're buying to hold it, and you hold it until it drops to zero. Now, of course, there's a lot of middle ground in terms of, do you want something to go to zero? Some people will say, oh, it'll never go all the way. It'll never drop that low. It'll never go that high. Like everybody kind of operates in that middle ground, assuming that their stock is not going to go down and it's only going to go up, but it won't go too high, and then they'll sell too soon. And it's a back and forth. It's a pendulum of irrational decision making. But this is a great question as it relates to BMT. Should you sell your stocks before you go to basic trading, or should you just let them go rampant and possibly drop to zero, or possibly go crazy high and jump, and you don't get a chance to sell and take advantage of the dividends or what have you? I don't know. I personally, I'm a fan of the slow and steady wins the race. I'm not a huge fan of quick money. It worries me. Anything gotten quickly is usually lost quickly, because you don't have the same value for it that you would have had if it took you years to get it. I'm a huge fan of TSP, Roth, traditional, variation of both. I'm a huge fan of Roth IRA, something that grows tax-free essentially. So you pay taxes on it immediately, and then it grows tax-free. Or traditional IRA, where it grows and you pay taxes only after you take it out. So you lower your taxable income essentially by using a traditional IRA. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not a investing expert. By no means, I'm not a guru on none of this stuff. I don't chase AMC. I don't chase GameStop. I am curious about it because it has me curious, just because everybody around me is doing it. I'm like, peer pressure will it overcome my person? Do I let peer pressure overcome me and I just partake? So it's interesting. I'm watching it. But as it relates to basic trading, I would invest in something long term. That's what I would do. If I'm going to basic trading, you're not gonna have your phone, you're not gonna have access to a computer. You won't be able to just constantly monitor a stock and saying, "Oh, this just shot up $20. Dogecoin just hit $50. Moonstar, whatever it is, just hit $100, and I'm a trillionaire now, and I gotta sell it. I gotta hurry up and sell it." You're not gonna have those options to sit there and just hold your phone and monitor stuff. You won't be getting notifications of anybody who has Dogecoin. We're going to give you your phones for the next hour so you can buy, sell, whatever you need to do. No, it's not going to happen. So I would invest in something long-term. Roth IRA, index fund, mutual fund, TSP, something like that. That first of all, it grows on its own. Especially like the S&P 500, it grows historically at like 8%, something like that, 7-8%. Historically, it's always trending up. So why not? It's stable. It still has risk, but it's less risk than one of these encrypted currencies, or trying to short a stock, or trying to squeeze a stock, whatever they're doing. Because of course I'm watching it myself and I'm curious myself. But when I start investing my money into it, that's a whole different thing. So I would invest in something a little more stable, something a little bit more conservative. Make sure you have your savings intact first. Like I'm not a huge fan of just buying and selling. It's too much, especially depending on the fees associated with whatever platform you're using. A lot of people are just losing money. Some people do make money. There are some people out here that are actually making money from all these different ways of buying and selling. Cool. But most people are losing money. Like the casino. Some people do make money, but most people are losing money. So it's just something about invest in long-term investments. The only difference between gambling and investing is the variable of time. And a lot of people think, gambling is so volatile and dangerous, and people lose their entire life savings, lose their marriage, lose their family because of gambling. Well, investing has a lot of the same risks associated with it. The only difference in between investing in time or investing in gambling is time. Gambling happens very quickly. Investing happens over time. So historically speaking, you're not going to win with gambling. Gambling with the stock market, you're not going to win. The house will win. So just keep those things in mind. Invest in long term. Wisdom will tell you money does not come quickly. It's not kept when it comes quickly. You want to invest in something that is structured, foundational. So hope that helps. Short answer to your question: how many college credits do you have to have before you can go an officer? I do not know. Don't know. I'm enlisted. Don't have a college degree. Don't have any college credits that I did not gain outside of tech school. So I do not know. I do not know. I apologize. Ooh, I like this question. Little Doggy asked, when do you plan on entering a serious relationship and why? Probably when I'm 35, 40. And that's a serious, what's the word? I can't say the word. It's a serious but non-serious answer. I don't plan on getting a relationship until a couple of things happen. First of all, let's establish what a relationship is. Relationship is something you can't get by yourself. So I'm 100% aware that you require someone else's free will, someone else's free choice to enter a relationship. That being said, I don't have a lot of room in my life for another person's free will, if that makes sense. I don't have a lot of room in my life for a lot of extra opinions on my direction in my life. I don't have a lot of time and patience and room and space to feed another mouth on my path right now. My path is very definite. My end destination, I'm quite sure of. It has not changed since I joined the military for the most part. Since I started this channel, my destination has definitely not changed. I know where I'm going. And my end destination is planned out down to pretty much every metric, basically because I'm running everything I'm doing off of principle. There's not a lot of opinions, not a lot of feelings involved in what I'm doing every day. I don't get up at 2:30 a.m. 6-7 days a week because I'm unsure. I understand that I'm beating most of my peers because I get up before them and I execute before them and I get to work and all my personal goals are accomplished before a lot of them get up. And so when it comes to a relationship, that means I have to accommodate someone else's opinions into my goal setting. My goal is to be retired by age 43, 44, 20 years in the military, 20 years on YouTube. What do you think my end result will be with 20 years invested in both of those? That's when I'll start thinking about relationships and bringing someone else on board after I've done the work to establish a foundation, both financially, both in terms of networking, both in terms of traveling. I want my personal things out of the way. And then I can still have children at 43. I can still have a family. I can still get married. I can do all of that stuff at 43 because I've sought wisdom on this. There are 50-year-olds, men, who are able to live their life in a certain manner and still have the personal things as it relates to a relationship, as it relates to all the frills, the spoils of war, if you will. All that's still available because I understand the timeline that I'm on and it's planned out based on wisdom. So relationships, I'm not huge on what you would call a serious relationship. I'm aware that I still have that right now and do what I'm doing currently. I just don't want to. I don't want to, and I don't have to. It's something that, again, wisdom tells you to predict outcomes of your decision making on a daily basis. And so as I look down the road, I clearly see what I need to do right now to increase as a man, to develop, to mature as a man, and realize life is about people, 100%. Life is about people. So at no point am I completely dismissing relationships and saying, all right, I'm not going to talk to nobody. I ain't going to have no relation. I ain't going to go on no dates because I do all that. I had a date yesterday. I do all of that at the same time. And if a serious relationship comes on the horizon today, I will consider it. But only in relation to my end goal, because that's what I am on this earth to do, is to solve problems. And so if someone comes in my life and says, I want to be on your team, I understand where you're trying to go in life. I want to help you get where you're going. I'm not completely dismissive of their goals either. It's possible to have both. Two things can be right at the same time. So you can have your goals as long as they don't interfere with mine. Because in that case, we'll take two separate cars. Cool. We'll take two separate cars to get where we're going if it's necessary. But yeah, currently, my goals determine what I do daily. And so a serious relationship, again, I'm not completely against it, but it must line up with what I'm doing. No exceptions. So hope that answered your question. Great question. Jeremiah Lofton asks, I'm in tech school right now. I'm 19, engaged, and my kid is due in July. I'm shipping overseas to Turkey as my first duty station, which I don't want. Would there be a way to change my first duty station to be closer to wife and kid? So yes, there is a way. So one thing that's quite common in tech school environments is switching first duty stations. The hardest part is finding someone that wants to go where you don't want to go. That's an option that you have. As far as completely just turning it down, you must remember what the military is. It's not the best option. It's not the answer nobody wants to hear. But the military is volunteer based, and it's the main principle is obedience, meaning there's not a lot of wiggle room. You don't have leverage, and you don't have positional power. You're at the mercy of the people in charge of you. So yeah, the option does exist, and it's quite common, which means you need to network, you need to talk to a lot of people. But if you don't want to go to Turkey, you need to find someone who wants to go to Turkey. You have to find somebody who wants to go to Turkey. So that's the best answer. That's the best option for you right now, especially being in a tech school environment. You don't really have the option to turn it down, really. Again, I'm not a personnelist, so that's maybe a question you should go talk to personnel about, like really ask them straight up, like, are there any regulations that speak to a tech schooler? Because you're technically a first-term airman, but that's not something, I'm not sure if it's available to your first duty station, to turn down your first duty station. No, that's something you do in the DET program. You turn down the Air Force. But once you're in, you got orders in process. Finding someone to switch duty stations with you. That's the same AFSC to go to the location you don't want to go to, and you take their location. That's the difficulty you're currently looking at. So start networking, start asking questions, talk to people that you're in the same tech school with. That's the benefit of where you're at right now, is that you're surrounded by your same AFSC, same age group, same rank. So talk to everyone, ask around. And the second you find somebody, march stay behind over to the powers that be, talk to your MTL, run up to the chain of command, and hopefully that there might be a resolution available to you. But best of luck to you, man. Best of luck. Keep me updated on that. I'm curious. Keep me updated on that. By the way, all my social medias, everyone is in the link in the description. Links in the description. Snap, IG, whatever. All that's down there. So if you're curious, you want to have a conversation with me, I offer one-on-one consults. So if you want to just talk one-on-one, you want to discuss your situation, talk about anything, hit me up in the description. If you want a specialized video, if you want a video specifically on a specific topic, buy me a coffee, throw a topic in there. So yeah, what else we got? PoX asks, where's your favorite place you visited while in the military? I've been loving the vlogs. Appreciate you, man. Favorite place I visited while in the military has to be Abu Dhabi. Dubai. Dubai by far. On the military dime, mind you, Dubai. Hands down, no competition. New York City is amazing. Miami's amazing. Vegas is amazing. I've been pretty much all the major cities in America. San Francisco is dope. Portland, like Seattle, all that's dope. Anchorage, Alaska, dope. But Dubai, that was a dream come true. So yeah, Dubai, not even close. More vlogs to come, by the way. More vlogs to come. Little Doggy asks, do you think there are noticeable differences in personality between young people joining the military versus people going into college? Not really. I mean, obviously there's differences in personalities. I don't think no two people have the same personality. You might have similar personalities, and you have archetypes of people who you fall in the category of type A, you fall in the category of an introvert, or people with introverted tendencies. But as far as people going to college and military, there might be a difference in wisdom in terms of asking enough questions. There tends to be a lot of different reasons why people join the military versus a lot of people choosing to go to college. If your college is paid for, if your parents are paying for college, or you got a scholarship, full ride, and someone else is paying for your college, it makes sense to go to college. Why not? Hopefully you chose the right major. But yeah, I don't think it's that cut and dry as far as, this type of personality joins the military, this type of personality goes to college. I think it has a lot to do with the circumstances surrounding that decision. I don't advise anybody to go to college if they're taking out student loans. It doesn't make any sense when you can serve 4 years in the military as reserves or guard or active duty and get a free education. Free. That's 4 years of sacrifice versus a lifelong bill. It doesn't make sense. So it comes down to wisdom ultimately in terms of why people do certain things, lack of wisdom, why people do certain things. Plenty of different reasons and foundations, but I don't think it's that cut and dry in terms of a certain personality joins the military, certain personality goes to college. I think it's more so to do with the circumstances and the questions someone asks. So hope that helps. Official Elijah Francis asks, for the Air Force, what's the top 5 bases to live at in your opinion? That's a good question. So I've only been stationed overseas twice. I would have to say, from a place of ignorance, no, I'm not going to answer that way. I would say from places I've been to, from the bases I've visited, I would have to say, and this is no in particular order, but my top 5, from again, this is out of the bases that I've visited, bases that I've physically been to. Permanent duty stations, top 5. Andrews being that it's in the heart of Washington, D.C. I will also have to throw in there Bowling Air Force Base, which is a joint base. Well, they're both joint bases with the Navy. I believe there's some Army units there as well. But anyway, Bowling Air Force Base, which is literally in the heart of D.C. Andrews is like right on the outskirts, but Bowling Air Force Base is in the heart of D.C. 2 Air Forces right there. What else I would throw in there? Travis, I just drove through there. Travis is dope, right outside San Francisco. Travis Air Force Base, California. What was that other base? Patrick Air Force Base, Florida. That is a beautiful base. Beautiful base. Only because it's right on the beach. So that's why I'll pick that one. That's 3. What else? I'm trying to think of bases either neighboring right on a major city or neighboring right on the ocean. Honorable mention will be Mandenburg, right on the ocean. But I wouldn't say it's top 5. What do we got? I would say Joint Base McCord, Washington, right outside Seattle, prime location. Always something to do. That's usually the biggest issue is a lot of people want something to do when they're not at work. And so to have that available to you with the major city being right next to where you work and live, and obviously you get paid based on the economy. So the cost of living matches all your bills. So you never really feel the economy where you live and work at. So, yeah. So, yeah. What did I say? Andrews, Bowling, Travis, McCord, and one more. That's a good question. I believe there's a base up near Boston. What is the name of that base? Let's ask Google Assistant. What is the Air Force Base right outside Boston?
According to Wikipedia,
Hanscom.
Air Force Base is
Hanscom Air Force Base right outside Boston. I would also throw in a couple of bases like McGuire, bases near New York City, bases like that. Any base that I would personally aim for would be outside a major city, any base overseas, or a base neighboring direct, like less than 10 miles, 15 miles from the ocean, or bases I would choose personally. And they tend to be reflected on my wish list. So that's my top 5. Really didn't really have time to actually think that out, but yeah, those would be my top 5 as far as bases I've been to and bases that I would personally choose to be stationed at stateside. And that list would greatly change as it relates to being overseas. But being that I haven't been stationed anywhere permanently that wasn't a deployment or wasn't Alaska, I can't answer that intelligently. So hope that helps. Great question. Ian B. Tron asks, what type of instance do you have? I'm not going to give that away. 2 things you don't tell people. The smell of your house and the smell of your cologne. You don't do it. That's a personal experience. A lot of people don't realize the connection you have with smell and your memories. No one will be able to smell me twice. Either in my presence, you can smell me, but you won't be able to have that permanently in your house. You got to invite your boy over, make me a plate, something. So yeah, for these purposes, I'll just say these are instant sticks. I also burn oud, OUD, resin oud, and I burn that on charcoal in my charcoal burner. And that will make your house smell like an amazing environment for deep thought and musing and what have you. Great question. Jeremiah Lofton asks, is there any way to change your permanent duty station assignment due to having kids and getting married? Not for those particular reasons. Not for those particular reasons. The assumption is, the implication is that you have a family. You join the military, that's normal. Those are all normal things. Now, if you're a woman and you're having children, that's different. You have the option to get out the military. So, yeah, it changes greatly for if you're actually the person having the child. But if you're the man, no, those are not great reasons to change the duty assignment. It's pretty cut and dry. Again, I will consult with personnel concerning that. I'm finance, and I've never heard of anyone just canceling an assignment or changing an assignment purely because they got married or had kids. Now, again, I'm not a woman. If you're a woman, you have children, you have some different options available to you because you're actually the person carrying and birthing the child. In a lot of cases, caring for the child in this earlier year. So, breastfeeding, what have you. So, yeah, hope that answers your question. Pearl the cat, once again, asking questions not available to the public knowledge. Good morning. What's your favorite incense scent? Sage is a good or reliable. I've been put off. I've never smelled sage, but I've only heard of it because of Kyrie and his antics. I think I might have sage. Either way, excuse me. I plan on picking some up anyway, just to see what it do. But my favorite scents so far have been the oud resins. Again, the names are in Arabic, so I don't know what they mean. I could easily look them up, but I'm just a huge fan of resin, oud. I'm not gonna tell you my colognes, but one of my colognes is an oud wood flavor, if you will. Very expensive, but one spray and I change a room when I walk in. I promise you on everything I love. When I walk in rooms and I spray that oud fragrance, people know I'm different. And they're like, bro, who smells like that? I'm like, shh, don't say that. Don't say that. What else we got? Wadner asks, is it possible to go overseas when you finish tech school? How do you budget in the Air Force so you don't go broke? What's your view on getting with military growth? Bro, how you gonna just throw all these questions in? That's greedy as hell. That is greedy as hell. You hear me? That's greedy. 3 questions that, bro. I'll answer each one concisely, succinctly, directly. Is it possible to go overseas when you finish tech school? Yes, 100%. 100%. The gentleman above you that asked about going to Turkey, that's a short tour. You can go to a short tour for your first assignment. So short tour is only a year long, and then you're leaving after a year. So my stint in Alaska was 1 year long. So yeah, you can go overseas and you can go to a short tour for your first assignment. Your next question was, how do you budget in the Air Force so you don't go broke? I use allotments. I remove money from my check and I send it somewhere else that I can't see it, or I know where it's at and I place it somewhere else out of reach that allows me to kind of use what I have currently and use it wisely. So allotments, I have videos on that. What's your view on getting with military girls? The same as getting with civilian girls. The same. Obviously treat them with respect. I think I skipped a question. Little doggy asked. We'll get that one next. My view of getting with military women is the same as getting with civilian women. Treat them with respect. Yeah. Obviously, I took the red pill. I have a video on that, I believe. The red pill is necessary for our existence. You understand? For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. You feel me? But yeah, I'll leave that at that. Little doggy asks, regarding sexual assault against women, how common is that? I can't speak to this. Like, I can only speak to what I observe as far as what I hear and what I see, obviously, on the internet. Yeah, it clearly happens. It clearly happens. It's kind of like racism. It happens. And a lot of people just don't see it until it's brought to the light, until a camera's on it, until someone reports it or something, is elevated to the proper level. It happens. It happens. And it's unfortunate every time. So it's something that we should just try to, prevent. Obviously, we all go to cyber trainings and we hear, blasted on the news and, the different outlets and, various emails, and it's on walls, and it's over the urinals. It's everywhere. And so it's something that we continuously have to work to prevent and to overcome. I don't think it'll completely go away, which is unfortunate, but such is life. Everyone has free will, and so people make decisions, bad decisions. And so it's something that we all have to take accountability for, as far as what part can we play in preventing it and keeping it from growing. So I'll leave that at that. What else we got? Sebastian Sturm. I'm not sure what podcast you're referring to, unless you're referring to my podcast, which is in the links below, the Raymond Isaiah podcast. Yeah, go check that out if you would like. Felix Murr asks, I've been temporarily disqualified. Still working on that. I'm planning on applying to the Space Force. What are the chances I get accepted? I'm not sure there's a pipeline for the Space Force. I'm pretty sure you probably go guard and join directly into the Space Force, assuming that your AFSC falls under the Space Force, such as like a operator of some radar or a drone or what have you. The chances, if you're asking for a percentage, I don't know. It's probably gonna be the same as the Air Force, because Space Force is brand new, so they're probably taking even less people than the Space Force is taking, and then the Army is taking more than the Space Force, and the Navy is taking more than the Air Force, and the Marines is taking everyone that's breathing. As long as you can walk and hold a gun, they're taking you. So I don't have a good answer for you. So I'm gonna leave it at I don't know. It's unfortunate, but yeah, hope that helps. Official Elijah Francis asks, can I get rich in the Air Force? Yes. A lot of people ask, well, me and my boy in Florida, we're talking about, like, how do you define what is rich? Defining rich. I personally define rich as your debt to income ratio, comma, your overhead to income ratio. What are your bills in comparison to your income, and how do they relate? Obviously, use round numbers. If you make 10 grand a month, your expenses are 11,000 a month, you will not get rich. There's no way in the world you can overcome that deficit unless you get another job, and that makes 1,500 a month. Then now you have a positive 500 per month that is accruing, hopefully, provided you're saving it. The way you get rich is keep your overhead low. It's what I focus on the most, and it's why I haven't prioritized the family. I haven't tried to have kids every single world. Like the future plan of having children by every single person I encounter, that's too much. Child support is the quickest way to cripple yourself financially. Being a fool and just kind of investing in everything that another coin. I'm gonna buy that one. Currency. And this is up and this is down. No, that's reacting. That's hopeful. I'm gonna be hopefully optimistic that this stock does this. No. Getting rich in the Air Force, it has to be defined for what does it mean for you to get rich, but that's how I define being rich, is having a low debt, low overhead, in terms of my bills are less than what I make, and allowing the money to accrue over time. It grows over time, whether it's via interest or just the fact that I'm spending less money than I make. So to answer your question, yes, you can get rich in the Air Force. You can. So hope that helps. What are my thoughts about the new PT changes in the Air Force? I haven't really read this detail about it. I probably should, because I have troops now. But yeah, I haven't read too deep into it as far as what the changes are. I know they changed the age increments from 10 years to 5 years. So whatever that means for me, being 28, it probably won't be much. But we'll see. I have my PTS coming up anyway, so I need to get my behind on that track and start running. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll probably make some updates on that. Hey, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Super chats are not required. But yeah, I'm always grateful. Ooh. I was waiting for this question to pop up. I plan on doing a whole video on this. It's going to be behind the paywall, because I don't like controversy just being all out on my page. It's too much. You watch anything that's Red Pill or in the Manosphere, i.e. Fresh and Fit podcast and Kevin Samuels, I watch both. Well, I always tell people, a lot of people just don't believe me, But until you ask me a question, you won't know what I know. I study everything as best as I can. I go in pursuit of knowledge because knowledge doesn't relate to directly to wisdom. But once you apply knowledge, it becomes wisdom, provided you have a desired end result and they match. Your actions and your desired end result, they match. That's what wisdom is trying to plan between one point, next point, in hopes of getting to your end result. I watch Fresh and Fit. I watch Kevin Samuels. I'm not going to give a comment on either at this current time. Both highly intriguing, both interesting. Never a dull moment. I'll say that. Never a dull moment. Again, I plan on doing a whole video on Kevin Samuels and just kind of the turbulence he has caused in the world, for better or for worse. Because again, that's not up to me. It's not up to me. But again, I've taken the red pill. I'm not a diehard, red pill follower like that. Like, no, I study evidence. I study wisdom. I study outcomes. And that's my ultimate goal, is to get to where I'm trying to get. And then hopefully I'm not by myself when I get there, because no one should be living their life alone. So, you always get I get questions about MGTOW and, are you MGTOW? I never see you with women. I'm like, I'm with women all the time. Like, no, I'm not MGTOW. Like, MGTOW, it's a whole thing. I don't completely agree with it. Again, I'll probably make separate videos on those type of things as it relates to this specific topic. Fresh and Fit, Kevin Samuels, MGTOW, all that whole, the Negro Manosphere, O'Shea Duke Jackson, all that is a whole thing that is highly intriguing. And I study it, but I look for evidence too. And I start with accountability. It's one thing to sit there and just point the finger. They doing this and they do it, and the courts, the system is in, and all this stuff is out to get me in, and family law, and cool. It might be factual. But on this channel, I start with accountability. What did I do wrong? What am I responsible for? What should I be doing? Am I doing what I'm supposed to? Am I on my path? Purpose. Am I doing what I was designed to do? Am I solving the problem that I was designed to solve? I start with all of that first. And then after we've taken accountability for our existence, our house, our room, we clean our room. Then we go out into the world and say, hey, maybe I could sweep that up over there. Maybe I could pick that trash up. Maybe I could fix this right here. Maybe I can direct traffic because of this accident, whatever. But yeah, the red pill is very interesting, highly controversial. I don't think everything's right. I don't think everything's wrong. I think wisdom is what we should prioritize. So we'll come back to that at some point. Again, it'll be behind the paywall for YouTube members or on Patreon, and we'll go from there. So great question. I like this question. Little doggy. What do you think is the meaning of your life? The meaning of my life, that's a very good question. Which, before we answer that, we're going to take a brief intermission so I can use the facilities. I'll be right back. It's always important to stay hydrated, you understand? It's always important to stay hydrated. And because we stay hydrated, we must use the facilities, you understand? All right, back to the question. What is the meaning of my life? Well, it is my philosophy that all humans are designed to solve problems for another human. It's that simple, and yet still so complex. You are placed on this earth to solve a problem for another human being. If you think about it, all technology was designed to solve a problem for another human being. This microphone, this monitor, this camera, the USB cable, my cell phone, water, Everything solves a problem. So why is it that we would think that a human doesn't solve a problem when our dogs solve problems, our cats, they all solve problems? So with that being said, if you think about it, it's quite obvious. We're on live right now. I'm solving some problem in your life, whether you realize it or not. The fact that you're watching means that there's some type of value that you're getting from this. That's problem solving. Now, to keep it from getting deep, relationships are what life is about. Relationships. Now, how we go about relationships and the specific problems that we're designed to solve as far as wisdom is concerned, that's what I've kind of grown to find my lane in, is wisdom. Not specifically and only the Air Force, but it's what I'm doing currently. And I happen to study wisdom. And so why not solve problems in other people's lives as it relates to the Air Force and wisdom? And of course, other different topics that I enjoy talking about. We already kind of mentioned the red pill. Again, I don't think everything's right or wrong, but it's something that wisdom kind of exists in, but there's a lot of fluff surrounding it. There's a lot of errors surrounding it. There's a lot of vain and false philosophies that are built into it, but wisdom is still somewhere in there. So I study wisdom. The meaning of my life is to study wisdom and to help mentor and to help guide and to document my life and to leave a legacy to me and mine, to my grandchildren, to my children, and to guide a family through this life and to hopefully be a light to someone else next to me, behind me, whatever. Study wisdom. The problem I solve in today's society is the way I think. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm different. I don't have the highest IQ. I'm different. I'm not the first person to join the Air Force. I'm not the last person to join the Air Force. But no one can come on stream and say what I say. It doesn't happen. It can't happen. I'm unique. I'm different. And so, the 17 of you that are watching right now, you guys have simply put, and I'm not tooting my own horn, you guys have noticed my difference. There are so many different Air Force military channels out here, but mine is different. It's not better or worse. It's different than theirs. And so by realizing my difference, I find my meaning. One easy way, and it's not an answer to every single question in terms of the details, but when you think about it, your design tells you what function you play. Your design, the design of a hammer tells you the purpose of the hammer. So to use it as a spoon tells you you're violating purpose, which in some circles is called sin. Sin is a violation of purpose. You're going against the opposite of what you were designed for. I'm designed to study wisdom. My mind loves it. I promise you. When I get a quality question, my energy rises. And trying to explain it, I had a date yesterday and we were talking about it and how I was just going off and answering. I was asking these questions. I'm like, all right, well, what about this? And I'm enjoying the conversation. And well, she didn't say she didn't enjoy it, but the point was I got overwhelmed with the quality conversation. And I usually save it for YouTube so I don't overwhelm people and just go off on tangents and start preaching to people. But I enjoy studying wisdom, strategy, manipulation, deception, the mysteries of being romantic and chivalry. And I love a good quality question and conversation. That's my difference. And so when it comes to problem solving, I overthink everything. It's my genetic makeup. It's what I do. Some people don't overthink anything. Some people they're happy and they go through life and they're just chill and they're upbeat and they're high energy and they're life of the party. It's just not me. I stay in my lane and I do what I'm designed to do. So when I come on stream, some people are just highly entertaining and people just love watching them. But people usually come to my stream to learn something or to get a new perspective of something. That's my difference. That's the meaning of my life, is to solve a problem for someone else. Obviously, a relationship falls in there somewhere where I got a family through life, protect, provide, be the priest, prophet of my house. Yeah. So great question. A lot can go and goes into that question and answer. But I'll leave it at that. My difference determines my meaning, and my meaning is determined by my creator. So I'll leave it at that. Great question. I see you, Airman Lofton. I see you. D asks, what do you like most about being in the Air Force? This really didn't happen until this current duty station, but people. I'm not a huge people person. I'm not a huge interactor. I'm not very social when it comes to large groups of people. I prefer one-on-ones. This is the only way I can talk to 16 people at once is on live stream, because I enjoy one-on-one conversation, one-on-two conversation, like just a quality conversation. But yeah, one thing you would notice is that unless someone's on leave, you see that person every single day. You almost forced into a relationship with people you work with. And it's something I've never engaged with. It's something I never allowed to happen before, because I just did not like strangers just automatically becoming part of my family because they had to. Like, no. But something I've grown to enjoy is seeing the same person every day. And again, it happened recently because of my new mindset shift and not coming to work to be the most competent and being the best at everything. No, I came to work to be sociable, be approachable, to connect with people. And because of that new mindset shift, I've come to enjoy people and networking and putting myself in new circles and meeting new people and discovering their lifestyles and what they do behind closed doors, and like just getting to know individuals. And there's no shortage of that. You see people in the same uniform, you know immediately if they're enlisted, they went to the same basic training you went through, with the exception of the recent COVID foolishness. You're able to connect with people on different levels, but you already know you have one thing in common. So there's many different things. I mean, traveling has definitely came up. I enjoy moving around. I would prefer some routes, in certain areas. Like I do kind of miss the DMV and DC and the lifestyle out there, but I enjoy traveling. So military will definitely give you some of that. Some people will stay at one base for the entire 6 years. Some people move around 6 times in that 6 years. So really just, it's luck of the draw. So great question. JPS, have you checked out Warrior Poet Society channel on YouTube? John Lovell is former Army Ranger and has a lot of mentally stimulating content. I have not. I have to check that out. Booah asks, I've been in a relationship for nearly 3 years and I'm currently in debt. We do not want to get married before I join. Is it easy to get married once I'm in? We will want to live together. It's a loaded question. Relationship for 3 years, you got some time. Currently in debt. We don't want to get married before I join. I'm not sure why that is. None of my business, but I'm not sure why that is. It seems to be relevant in this. The fact you asked the question. Is it easy to get married once you're in? Yes. It's a matter of signing paperwork, go to the courthouse. I think you gotta have a witness. You gotta pay like $25. I believe it's $25 here in New Mexico. You want to live together. Living together might be the only issue in your question, because you'll probably be in the dorms. Now, it's not impossible to get somebody on base. It's not impossible to live with somebody that's civilian, but you're not supposed to. And there are sporadic and random room inspections that you will have to adhere to, and you might not be ready for. And to have somebody just laying up in your bed while you at work, that's not going to go over well. So they'll probably, once you get married, they'll probably move you out the dorms anyway. But that doesn't happen immediately. There are a lot of married people that are in the dorms currently because their spouse usually doesn't live in the same area, local area, what have you. So it's just something to think about. You want to move at the pace of your entitlements when you're in the military. If you move ahead of your entitlements, you're going to be paying out of pocket for a lot of things. Perfect example will be BBH, especially in relation to your situation. If you come in the military and you're not married, you're going to be in the dorms. Most likely. In most cases, in the most general of cases, you're going to be in the dorms. If you come in the military, you're not married. You're the first duty station. They're going to put you in the dorms, and that's where you're going to live. If you get married the next day, you won't be out of the dorms immediately. Unless your spouse is already established off base in the same area that you're stationed at, you're going to be paying out of pocket to live off base. So you want to move at the pace of your entitlements, meaning if you know you want to be married, try to beat the entitlements, meaning you have things established already. Let's say you don't get married in before basic training. You don't get married in tech school. But if you're about to PCS, let's say you graduate in 2 weeks and you know you're about to go to your first duty station. I would get married within that 2 weeks before you go to the duty station. So by the time you get there, you're married already. Your pay record is updated. So when you get there, there's no discussion about sending you to the dorms. The discussion is, all right, go find an apartment off base, or talk to base housing so you can get an apartment on base, and your spouse can move in together immediately. But as long as you don't plan it and you're just kind of reacting, there's going to be a moment of time where you're going to be moving ahead of your entitlements, and your entitlements are going to be behind, and you're going to be paying out of pocket. It's going to hurt, especially depending on certain areas where you live at. People coming into the military, you're not making a ton of money. You're not making a ton of money. So your average check is going to be about $500 every 2 weeks, mainly because everything else is paid for. But as long as you have bills that exceed that $500, what's the point? So family planning is what I'm saying. Family planning, wisdom, planning out your timeline, and saying, all right, before I get to I graduate basic training on this date, provided I leave this date, and then my job is this. My tech school is going to be this long. Add a couple of weeks, maybe add a month, depending on the situation regarding your start dates and AFI and whatever. Once you start school, say, all right, I'm scheduled to graduate on this date, barring no issues. I need to be married by this date, and then go from there. I'm being stationed here. As soon as you find out your station, look up the economy in that area, look up the average rent prices, look up the commute times from wherever you plan on living. And all right, if I'm stationed in DC, it's going to be at least an hour commute depending on where I live from. The closer I live to base, the more expensive it is. So I'll be paying more out of my BH. My BH rate is this from this year, from this rank. I have this dependency status. There's a lot that goes into planning, especially as it relates to a military lifestyle. There's a lot of planning that goes into it. And a lot of times, even me, I fall short in terms of my planning, where I have to ask for help. It happens. But yeah, you did right by asking a question. But again, family planning is this what you want? A lot of people are just kind of moving by surprise and just, I'll get married tomorrow and let's just do that. No, you need to plan. So hope that helps. If you need to talk more in depth, definitely book a session or just hit me up in the DMs and we'll definitely address it more. What else we got? Wadner, how do you deal with people shaming you for not having kids now? I'm around your age. I don't care. I see this a lot in women, and it's something to talk about. It's something to definitely think about and address as far as people shaming you. So when you think about shame, I'm a huge fan of defining words, people. Shame usually doesn't result in change. It usually results in the concealment of actions and words. If you shame someone, that doesn't mean that they change immediately. It just means that they conceal whatever they're doing around you. So when I personally don't get shamed for not having kids. I can have kids as long as I'm healthy, and there's really no time limit on it. I would say around 50 or 60, there might be some degradation of my swimmers. But yeah, my timeline is quite different than a woman because I don't deal with having to freeze eggs and what have you, and the health and as it relates to aging and my biology. So I don't deal with shame in that area. I'm sure, well, you asked the question, so I would assume that you're dealing with it currently. You need a goal. That's what you need. If you're around my age, 28, 30, whatever, you need a goal. I don't worry about shame. Shame does not define my goals or my destination, my ambition, my planning, my wisdom. Shaming is extracurricular. It's stimuli that I don't respond to. It has nothing to do with my end goal, my end destination. You shame me, I'm not doing anything immoral, unethical, illegal. Your shame is irrelevant. Shame is necessary in certain cases where something's immoral, unethical, illegal. All three of those, well, two of those are relative. One of them is standard-based. Illegal is usually something written somewhere. I'm not saying everything that is legal is right. Everything is legal is moral or ethical. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying certain things, what are you going to do? They got leverage. And that's where it comes down to wisdom, understanding that certain things are just leverage-based. You have no control of it. You can be mad at it, cool. But if it's standard-based, it's written somewhere, you can be upset with the speed limit, but if you exceed it, you're wrong. Not by your own standards, but by someone else's that has leverage over you and that can enforce it. Now, when it comes to immoral and unethical, that's a whole conversation that we can really dive into as it relates to morality and ethics and what have you. But yeah, don't worry about shame, provided it falls those three categories: illegal, unethical, and moral. As long as you're not violating those or you're not hurting anyone else, just be careful with those three. But yeah, shame. As a man, you need a goal. As a woman, you need a goal. What do I want at the end of my life? 60, 70, 80 years old. What do I want my life to look like? Do I want to be alone? Do I want children? Do I want a family? Do I want a career? What do you want? Do I want to be able to travel? How much does it cost to travel? How much does retirement cost? Do you want to have to actually go work for the job, or do you want passive income? I spend my 20s and my 30s building the life I want for my 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. That's the point. That's the whole point. While you're young, you have energy, you build your future. I thought that was simple. A lot of people it misses it. Just no clue. You spend your 20s while you're young, you have energy, you're vibrant, you get 4 hours of sleep and you just shake it off. I've been getting up at 2:30 since 2017. I spent my last couple of years in my 20s grinding, building, establishing passive streams of income. Not things that are just completely risky and Dogecoin. I'm just going to bet everything on that, just take out student loans and personal loans and mortgage the house. And I'm trying to put everything on Dogecoin. That's not wisdom. That's not wisdom. That's gambling. So, yeah, Wadner, no matter what age you are, your current time, your current place in life is to create your tomorrow. That's what you should be doing day in and day out. That's what I'm doing currently. I'm providing value. I'm networking. I'm building streams in. I'm creating content. It doesn't stop with me. When this mic goes off, my content continues. The wisdom continues. When I die, these videos don't just miraculously come down. So I don't react to shame as long as I'm not affecting anyone else's life as far as unethical, immoral, illegal. And then I stay on my path as it relates to my goals. Hope that helps. Just graduated with my master's in accountancy. I'm currently pursuing my CPA. How will my skills as an accountant benefit me within the Air Force? It probably won't. Unless you get finance or contracting, it probably won't. And even if you do, if you come in enlisted, unless you're on budget, it won't. If you become an officer, that's different. You got your master's. So yeah, there's a great chance that you can probably become an officer. It's highly competitive, so just keep that in mind. Yeah. Civilian doesn't really translate that well in every case to the military. We do things a lot differently. A lot of our methods are kind of outdated. And so just keep that in the back of your mind that not everything is apples to apples. Some things are apples to bananas, and it just doesn't match. It's just different. We use Excel just like the rest of the world, but yeah, it's not the same. So keep that in mind. You might be able to come and be a GS employee as far as working for the government in that same capacity. As far as I know plenty of accountants that work in my same office that have a degree in accounting and are purely civilian. They work for the government. They got a lot of same benefits, but they're civilian. So yeah, keep that in mind. Don't dismiss all opportunities to put the uniform on. There might be a better option. There might be a better option. So keep that in mind. The doggy. Wow, I'm impressed to hear that you actually look at Red Pill. You seem very optimistic considering that perhaps I have somewhat of a negative image attached to those who watch the Red Pill. That's the issue, is that most people get grouped into a bucket when it's real easy to put everyone in a bucket, honestly. I could put you in a bucket right now and say, you are the enemy because of your gender, because of the way you grew up, because of your mindset, because of your belief system, your philosophies. I could easily throw everyone into a bucket. You see this in politics where everyone gets thrown in. You're this because you believe this, because you voted for this person, you're this, because you marched for this, because you believe this, because you voted for this, because you post this, you are in this bucket, and I immediately categorize everyone. Well, you're probably gonna be wrong in a lot of cases. And the second you group everyone in a group, you're also grouping yourself into a group, which could be wrong. So again, I focus on wisdom. I don't care what I'm looking at, what I'm studying, which philosophy, what is being told to me, what video I'm watching, which podcast I'm listening to, which personality I'm observing. I study wisdom first, and I look for evidence, both my personal anecdotal evidence and then worldwide universal evidence of saying my ultimate goal is truth. The red pill has elements of truth, elements. Just like purple pill, black pill, white pill, pink pill, all these different pills of different philosophies and ideologies and perspectives, they're all somewhat valid, somewhat. But the truth exists outside of everyone's different philosophies and all these opinions that swing back and forth. The truth remains consistent. And that's my ultimate goal is I want to be right historically at 70, 80 years old. I want to be right. And so I want my decision making to reflect my end goal at all times. This is the life I want to live. I want a family. I want children. I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. I want to be strong. And I want to be right. And so I tried my best. I'm not perfect by any means. You guys just don't see my failures posted everywhere. But I'm imperfect. I have weaknesses just like everybody else. But I do my best to take accountability for my life and say, yo, I was wrong here. I shouldn't have did that. I should have did better over here. I should have put more effort over here. I should have asked more questions over here. And I move on. So that's the best you can do, especially as it relates to red pill and all these different ideologies and philosophies, is search for truth. Search for truth. Great question. Little doggy got all these questions in here. What else we got? Trying to skip around. Does seeking wisdom and the feeling of uncertainty overwhelm you? Do you study philosophy? If so, what sector do you enjoy the most? I'm not sure what you mean by MBTI. I'm not sure what that means. Answer both your questions. Does seeking wisdom and the feeling of uncertainty overwhelm you? At times. Once you know something, you're accountable. Once you know the truth, you're accountable. Once you know the truth, you're a threat. Once you speak the truth, you're a target. There are times where I see things, I want to comment on it, I want to make a video on it, I want to go into depth and explain something. And sometimes you guys just save yourself. In a lot of cases, I focus on saving myself and my family. Building my own foundation and saying, this is where I'm trying to go. That's where I'm trying to get there. Cool. Everyone else is taking L's. Wisdom is available to everyone, just like it is to me. I'm no fancy person because I studied wisdom. I just chose to. That's just what I chose to focus on. If I focused on rap, I probably could be a rapper. I don't know. Possibly. I'll bring some bars, 16 of them. I'll give you a couple things to think about. I could have been an athlete. But I chose to focus on wisdom. This channel happened to be focused on wisdom because that's what I chose to base my life off of and pursue. I'm not perfect. Again, I try to emphasize this as best I can. I'm not perfect. I'm not even close. I'm a flawed individual. But I study and I document on here. I document. I'm not telling you what I do every single day, what I do moment to moment. I'm just a perfect person. I get everything right. But no, I do get overwhelmed. I deal with anxiety. I deal with incompetence. Being perceived as incompetent. I deal with insecurity sometimes. I deal with not being or feeling like I'm not good enough. I'm human just like everybody else, but I try to make my decisions based off wisdom, even though my feelings may not reflect that. My mindset, my subconscious might be saying, bro, you dusty. But my decisions, I gotta do my best to keep my decisions in line with my goal. So yeah, overwhelm happens. Feelings associated with being uncertain and not knowing. Yeah. I don't know where I'll be 5 years from now. I have a clue based on my decision making. I have a pretty good clue where I'll be, but I'm not certain about it. I don't know where my next base will be, what I'll be doing there. But I know at this space, today, right now, provide value. Do this, make this, edit this, go to the gym, eat this. So do the best you can with what you have right now. Ask questions. And of course, do you study philosophy? If so, what sector do you enjoy the most? I would say morality. Morality, deception, seduction, everything to do with the subconscious mind, cosmology. Philosophy really is kind of broad, but when you think about dilemmas and like just simple questions, how do I tell right from wrong? That one question opens up so many doors of discovery. And where do I start with that? First of all, we got to define the words. And then everyone's going to try to define it differently. I'm like, all right, well, we got to be consistent. And it never ends. It's an endless conversation of intellectual gymnastics and just, it stimulates me. I promise you, and everything I love. Philosophy, there's no bounds to it. There's no ceiling. There's no lanes to it. It's just questions. It's just questions. So it's hard for me to put a pinpoint of one specific topic I want to talk about or I love talking about. Because I love questions. That's why I can sit here for 2 hours and do a live stream and just answer questions. I enjoy thinking. It's my genetic makeup. It's what I love to do. My dad's the same way. My dad loves questions. He's an amazing question and asker. So I can't give you a direct answer, honestly. If I had to choose one right now, it would probably just be morality. Probably morality. Who said that, bruh? What? What, bruh? What? You know you have said that, bruh? Crazy? Bruh, do you know my name, bruh? You know I'm different, right? My whole office said the same thing until it was PT day. Tomorrow's PT day. You know what happens on Tuesdays? It's a massacre. People lose their lives. And of course, I bring cameras with me. That's the difference between me and all the other people that talk trash. I bring cameras with me because the he said she said stuff, and you didn't cross me. Don't take my word for it. What the footage say, man? What the video say, man? I digress. Jalen, watch your mouth, man. I'm different. I'm different. What else we got? Before that blasphemy took place, you can't have it. Ooh, hear him with some debates, topics. On a serious note, Ray, being creative and not something for its intended purpose isn't necessarily a sin if it's used to do something good to help people. I guess I would agree more or less. It's just hard to argue that something not intended for its, well, that's true. Because, you have cargo planes for the military that could be used for humanitarian missions. Of course, one could argue that they were designed for that, shipping cargo, no matter who it's going to. So, agree and disagree. Agree, mostly. Zern says, I joined the Army ROTC because of your videos about wisdom. I know the Pentagon has all the branches of the military, but is there any bases that have all the branches of the military? First of all, I appreciate you trusting me to take my word for anything, especially as it relates to wisdom. I'm a student just like you are, so I'm definitely grateful. But as it relates to your question, a base that has all the military branches, you see a lot of deployed locations share a joint mission. Pretty much most joint bases. So to answer your question as it's written, are there any bases that have all the branches of the military? All the branches of the military? I don't know of any outside of the Pentagon. You may, intelligence communities that have a representative of every branch in that intelligence, sector or arena or environment. But again, probably DC, Washington DC, the DMV is probably one of the few places in this world that has every single branch represented. Unless it's like a major hub, like maybe Ramstein or again DC. It's quite rare to have every branch represented. Again, the Coast Guard is only acknowledged as a military branch during times of war. So any other time they fall under Department of Homeland Security. And so as it relates to the Navy, Air Force, Marines, and now Space Force, of course, Army as well. Washington, D.C. is probably one of the few places that you'll find every single branch represented in the same place. The Pentagon has every single branch, including the Coast Guard and Space Force. Pentagon is probably the only answer that I could probably give right now. And D.C. is probably the more broader answer to answer your question. Hope that helps. How long did it take you to have the level of wisdom and knowledge you have now regarding, sorry for the last question regarding the meaning of life. When did you decide you wanted to pursue wisdom? So wisdom is not a place that you arrive to. It's a place that you continuously pursue. You never arrive. You will never arrive at a place of being wise. In most cases, you'll just be more wiser than people around you. And it's something that'll be kind of noticeable. Again, Again, I try to speak with humility as far as not knowing everything. I've made my own mistakes. I started pursuing wisdom probably around age 23 when I joined. I believe it was 2016 was a major change for me as it relates to picking a path, picking a direction, picking a place I want to be at, and saying that's where I want to be at. That's where I want to achieve. That's the lifestyle I want, and then getting on that path and going there. Age 23, 2016ish was when that kind of happened for me. When I decided to pursue wisdom, I don't know. It's something happens when you hate being wrong. There comes a time where you just get tired of being wrong about your outcomes. You get tired of it. I want to be right in my decision making. I'm not sure exactly when that happened, but yeah, after you fail enough times, after you try and fail, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? You have to go back to the film and say, all right, what did I mess up on? And by replaying the film, by seeking wisdom, by having a mentor that says, oh, you messed up right here. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Everybody in prison has played the tape at some point and said, what did I do wrong? How did I end up here? And that's what we have to do on a daily basis, is daily evaluate the results of your efforts. Review the last 24 hours, last 48 hours, last week, the last year, and say, what did I do right? That's where confidence comes from, is past victories, and past failures. That's experience they use for future wisdom and saying, avoid this, don't do that. Ask questions over here, get a mentor right here, staff your weaknesses right here, stop doing that, do more of this. That's what wisdom is. It's a constant asking of questions. It's the constant acknowledgement of, I don't know everything. I can't know everything. I don't know half of everything. I need to learn. I need to seek wisdom. So, hope that answers your question. Giovanni Zabala asks, I'm having a hard time with ASVAB. What do you recommend? False motivation. I have a lot of videos on this. Search ASVAB in my name, Raymond Isaiah, and you should get a lot of different results on your mindset as it approaches the ASVAB. Short answer, how much time, how many minutes are you studying per day? Minutes. That means we're starting with accountability. Again, as I just mentioned, replaying the tape. Out of a 24-hour period, out of an entire day, how many minutes are you studying undistracted? And how much of that information are you retaining? Accountability. That's the short answer. Again, search ASVAB and Raymond Isaiah. You'll get a lot of results. And you just kind of go through that. That will kind of reshape your mindset and hopefully course correct you in terms of where you want to be, in terms of your efforts, your resources that you're using and consulting with. You might need a tutor. You might need a tutor. Don't overlook that. So hope that helps. Excuse me. It's still early. It's like 11 o'clock and I'm yawning. What is the acceptance rate for being an officer, attending officer school after finishing college? Don't know. Short answer. Do not know. Carlito with the super chat. Appreciate you. Year and a half left in the U.S. Marine Corps. How do I keep my head up until then? First of all, thank you for serving in a branch that I would not be caught nowhere near. Very vague question. But what I would do, I've never been in the Marines. I've rarely been around Marines. But what I can say, how to keep your head up, I've been in that situation where you feel like you're drowning. I've lived there before. Alaska. I was in that place where I swore on everything I love, there was 2 feet of water above my head. And I'm like, bruh, I'm not going to make it to my next base. I've been there. I've lived it. I've had therapists, counselors. I've been to mental health on a weekly basis. Appointments, scheduled, in the books, talking to counselors, mental health, behavior therapists. Like being 100% on 10, like, listen, I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling. I'm supposed to be this guru on YouTube talking about wisdom and this, and this, and that. And I'm struggling. What do I do? I've been there. You might need to go to mental health. A lot of times, and personally speaking, I struggle with just needing someone to talk to that was willing to correct me, to correct my philosophies. to correct my belief systems and saying, you believe this, it's wrong. Or you need to question it. There's nothing more valuable than a friend that will tell you you're wrong. A friend that is willing to disagree with you. One thing I noticed, especially in the military environment, is that a lot of people suffer by themselves, and it's completely unnecessary. Think about how many people are in the Marines right now. Air Force, Army. You're talking to an airman right now, and you're in the Marines. You're not alone in terms of your suffering. It may not be the same. Obviously the Air Force is not the Marines. Nowhere near it. The Marines is not the Air Force. But yeah, you're not alone in your suffering. And if you choose to suffer alone, it's a choice. It's a choice. There are people around you that are suffering with the same things, if not similar things. And it's up to you whether or not you suffer by yourself. It's up to you. My new focus at Cannon Air Force Base right now in 2021 is to pursue people. That's it. I told my supervisors I don't care about promoting. And I do care, but that's not my priority. My priorities are pursuing people, relationships, networking. That is it. Everything else is prioritized below that. Everything else in my military career is prioritized below the following: pursuing people, relationships, friendships, networking. That is it. Why? Because it's the only thing that allows me long-term to be successful. Long-term, both mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially. You need people. And I'm telling you, I'm not here to badmouth social media at all because I'm using it currently. I love social media. I love the internet. But the second you try to replace a human with a pet, with an object, with a video game, with a social platform, you will fail. I'll repeat that. The second you try to replace a human being, a relationship with a human being, with a career, a pet, a toy, a video game, a social media platform, likes, comments, subscribes, it doesn't work. It does not work. You are a human. You need other people. The fact that you're asking me a question is evidence. It's not proof. It's not causation, but it's clear evidence that you need people. You need people. And until you stop everything you're doing right now and focus on creating a relationship with another human being, you will constantly be treading water, both as a civilian and military. You can get out the military and you'll notice you probably have the same problems. Because wisdom is used to address wisdom problems. Everything is a wisdom problem. Everything. Everything is a wisdom problem. You think it's a financial problem? No, it's a wisdom problem. Everything is a wisdom problem. So by addressing things with wisdom, you realize, all right, what matters most in this world? People. People matter most. During a hurricane, we try to save dogs, but ultimately we're trying to save humans. Our taxpayer dollars, they go to saving human lives. So at no point should you lose track of the fact that no matter what I embark on, no matter what I try to invent and pursue and try to build, and I spend all day long on YouTube and trying to make and create and to edit and provide value, cool. But ultimately, I want to know who Carlito Suave is. First, last name, who his family is, how many pets does he have, what does he like to do in his free time, what is his favorite food. I want to pursue the human being, because that's ultimately what's going to matter. When I die, all be left is what Isaiah used to think and what he used to talk about, and how he just tried to provide value to people. That's what your focus should be. Spend the last year and a half left in the United States Marine Corps pursuing Marines, pursuing people, getting to know people. How do you do that? I have plenty of videos on networking for introverts, networking for the military community, how to meet people, saying yes. So I'll leave that there. Be encouraged. I've been where you are. In a lot of cases, I live currently where you are. That's not abnormal, what you're going through. Don't think it is. Pursue other people. Ask for help. Hope that helps. What else we got? Hear them. Chipotle, receipts. I see you. Little doggy, what you know about Friedrich Nietzsche, Kierkegaard? What you know about them boys? I don't know how old you are, little doggy, but you seem well seasoned in the poets. Well, one of my favorite writers is Oscar Wilde. He's different, to say the least. Shout out to my new member. I already saw that one. Jonas Runs Track. Appreciate the new member supporting this channel. Thank you. I'm grateful. I don't know how to properly emphasize how grateful I am to people that support the channel monetarily. It's not required. Again, my content is free. There's certain things that will be behind paywalls for certain reasonings, but in most cases, my content is free. And so the people that go out of the way to show love and to help support, thank you. That's I'm grateful. What else we got? Ooh. Some of y'all questions off the wall, and I will not have it in this case. Some of y'all know better. We'll touch on when we get to it. What else we got? Giovanni Zavala asks, what do you do to stay motivated? I ask questions. One simple question would be, what is the alternative? First of all, you have to define motivation, realizing it's temporary, it's an emotion. Sometimes it's a feeling where you feel like, I want to do this. I want to overcome. I want to be great. I want to win. I want to compete. But that goes away. And what do you do after that? You stay committed. You stay disciplined. Motivation is something I do not focus on. I repeat, I do not focus on motivation. Motivation does not control me. When I feel excited, I stay grounded. When I feel depressed, I do my best and I ask for help. But my goal is to stay grounded. I'm not as good or as bad as they say I am. I'm not defined by my wins. I'm not defined by my defeats. I stay grounded. Motivation, you don't focus on it. Commitment, discipline, destination. That is what runs my life. In most cases, in the majority of cases, you will see a video uploaded daily on this channel. That's not from my motivation. That's from my commitment and my discipline. You'll see videos ranging from 70 views to 130, 140,000 views. Doesn't matter. I will provide value, and the response, I pay attention to it. I read the comments. I look at the like to dislike ratio. But my ultimate goal is make sure my intent is right, provide value. I don't focus on motivation as far as today I feel like working out. Today I feel like overcoming the world and I'm just going to go tackle somebody. No. Because it's temporary. You don't make decisions, permanent decisions, long-term, short-term decisions based off temporary feelings. That includes motivation. Commitment, discipline, and my end goal determines what I do daily. That's it. Hope that helps. Native Jim 17 asks, after being in the Air Force for a while now, do you wish you would have been commissioned as an officer? No. It would be proportional to being officer right now and wishing I was enlisted. I don't know the difference. Not only didn't have the option to go officer, but no, I'm enlisted. There's more people on the enlisted side than there are officers. I prefer the enlisted side because there's more people to network and to get to know and to develop relationships and network with. There are a lot more rules associated with being an officer, even though you make more money. So it's gives and takes. There's pros and cons. I would definitely prefer to get paid as an officer, but have the option as enlisted. But no, I don't wish I was an officer. When will direct enlistment in the Air Force start? I don't know. It's a good question. Probably after COVID is fully eradicated and done away with. Probably in the coming months. We're already not wearing masks on base, which is amazing. I found that absolutely amazing. I can just go into any building, within reason, and not have to wear a mask. Go to the gym, not wearing a mask. Going to Walmart, off base, and of course we're in New Mexico. There's different rules. Texas is quite similar. But if you go to some like California, I believe they're still wearing masks and still got a ton of red tape. But things are slowly reopening, and so it'll probably be in the coming couple years that they'll have a direct pipeline into Space Force. But that infrastructure has to be built. They got to pick a base where it'll be at, and what APCs will be going through that pipeline. So there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built. Great question. This needs to be addressed on this channel because there was some recent turbulence regarding this, and I can't have it in this case. You understand? Can you share your political views? No, nor will I. This channel will not include any politics, meaning I won't be going into depth in terms of my personal beliefs, what you should believe, what you do believe, who you voted for, none of that. No, this channel will stay apolitical, neutral. There are certain topics that I will briefly touch on as far as, I've made videos on like war or like what it means actually to be at war, or the draft, or should you make a decision based on the president, and should you join the military based on who the president is currently or who will be. I've touched slightly on it, but in terms of going into depth in terms of actual political beliefs and whether or not I believe in this and where I'm pro this or con this or what, no, won't be doing it. Also, just to clarify properly, if I see comments on it, again, I read all comments. Every single comment that comes on this channel, I see it. I don't have time to respond to every single one, but I'm doing better with responding to every single one. But the only warning system I have on this channel is that if you post something political as a comment on this channel, I will delete it. Now, if you do it multiple times after seeing that your previous comments were deleted, you will be blocked. I don't give a ton of verbal warnings and comments and please don't do this and come on, please don't do that and please don't comment this. No. So if I see it, I usually give a warning by deleting the comment. Hopefully that kind of clues people in. Of course, there's only 20 people watching right now out of 11 or close to 12,000 subscribers. So everybody won't see this, but the point being is that I try to give people a chance, but yeah, no politics on the channel. No, it's too much. Thanks for asking the question. But what I will say in regards to politics, seek wisdom. Seek wisdom, people. Seek wisdom. Also, history is a great tool to use when it comes to voting and how to study government is look at history, study history. Leave that at that. What else we got? Another thing I don't really touch on too much is race, although it is relevant. So I will answer this question. What is the experience as a black man in the military, Air Force especially? It's been decent. I personally have not dealt with a ton of racism. It's kind of like seasoning in the kitchen. You smell it when it's there. You're in the kitchen, but it's not always something cooking. My experience has been pleasant, to answer it directly and simply. My experience as a black man in the Air Force has been simple. Not everyone has that same testimony. Some people have struggled as it relates to direct encounters with race. But yeah, thankfully and fortunately, that's not been my story. I'll leave it at that. Again, I do one-on-one consults. If you want more direct answers to more controversial questions, one-on-one consults, that's where that all goes down. Also, Patreon and YouTube memberships will have things of that nature as far as more controversial topics that I might want to cover. But yeah, one-on-one consults, if we're having a one-on-one conversation, we're talking on the phone, we can talk about anything. And you will hear my actual personal beliefs. So that's always available. Nelson Dixon asks, I'm also curious of your plans when you leave the Air Force. My plans when I leave the Air Force is to go sit on somebody's beach and sip on something alcoholic in nature. Simple as that. I will be going to the gym early in the morning. I will make my videos as I do currently. I will probably be reading books for the bulk of the day, editing vlogs, what have you. But ultimately, I will be on somebody's island somewhere, probably within an hour or two of a major city. And if I'm married, I'm married. If I have children, I have children. But I will be established financially with multiple passive streams of income. And I will be answering to no man to work a 9 to 5 or woman for that matter. Passive income, about an hour from any major city. And I will have the option to choose on any given morning what I do that day, where I go, what I wear, who I respond to, who I interact with. I will have the option to choose. That is my 17-ish year goal from today's date. About 17 years before I will be at that goal. And my actions every single day map to that end goal. That's why I'm confident. That's why I have peace that every single day I just got to do something simple. Every day I do something simple, keep my overhead low, keep my debt low, and realize these principles lead to this end result. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing in 20 years. It's gonna be amazing. Trust me. And of course I'll be documenting, just like as other people like Christian Guzman have documented their life. I'll be able to see how they did it, and you'll be able to see how I did my journey. But I'm just in the middle of my journey. I'm 4 years into my journey right now, building a YouTube channel, building a podcast, but also building an Air Force career at the same time. You can have both, but it takes planning. I get up very early, very intentionally. I have to, because my goals require it, not because of my feelings, not because of motivation, not because I have the greatest mentors in the world. No, it's because my goals say these 1,000 things are required before you get to your end goal. So do these 50 things per day, every day, on holidays, no exception, and then you'll get to here. So that's what I do every day. And it's why I don't really enjoy doing everything. I enjoy doing this, but showing up to work tomorrow, I don't exactly enjoy that, but I know it's required. It's necessary. So hope that answers your question. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Once again, shout out to Jonas, runs track, new YouTube member. Again, I believe iPhone will be having some issues, but if you want to join the channel, there's some perks that are available. It's not like a huge meal plan that you just upgrade to, but certain things will be available as far as exclusive content that I'll be making for new members. Also on Patreon as well, if you want to support the channel. Appreciate you. Chris Chapman, I'm about to turn 26. I'm seriously considering the Air Force. What advice would you give me? I want to enlist. I also have a bachelor's degree. I would try to get return investment for that. I made videos on that. I've so many videos on a lot of these same concepts that you guys are asking. If you have a question about specific topics, search the keywords and my full name. And usually you'll get a response based on that topic. You'll have a certain amount of videos. I have a lot of videos I've made, and I post videos daily. And I do a lot of Q&A. So usually when these videos come up, or these topics come up, I'll talk about it for usually about 2 or 3 minutes, just so there's enough content there, and I'll repost it so people can find that specific topic, because it's hard for me to come up with just random topics about specific situations, about individuals. So now that I have your question, I'll go over it real quick. So 26, still young as hell. Seriously considering the Air Force. Not the worst choice in the world. So what should you do? What advice would I give you? Start with wisdom, accountability. I always start with the chaos in my own life. Address the chaos in your own life, meaning you're taking the temperature of what is wrong in my life. What is leaking? Are the windows down when the air conditioning is on? What is wrong in my life? What is out of order? What is broken? What is deformed? What needs to be addressed? That's where I'll start. I start there. Am I fit? Can I run a mile and a half without stopping? Can I do 50 push-ups? Can I do 50 sit-ups? Those are just baseline numbers that kind of guarantee you'll pass any PT test as a male in the military, 26 years old. Beyond that, finances. Do I have savings account? Can I live off that savings account? For how long can I live off a savings account? That's addressing disorder. Do I have debt? Have I addressed it? Am I paying all my bills? Are my bills paid on time? Am I spending more than I make monthly? All those things need to be addressed. Then from there, family. Is my family healthy? Have I had this conversation with my family? Both, beyond my personal family, as far as wife, kids, husband, all that is addressed. Then you go to further family. Not that you're taking their word for it as far as what you should or shouldn't do, but have you brought it up? Have you sought wisdom from people that are older than you, that have life experience? All that has to do with addressing chaos in your life. Make sure that everything is in order. Order makes transition smooth. That's the hardest part about joining the military, moving in the military and transitioning to different seasons in your life, as far as PCSing, is dealing with transition. You will know when your life is out of order when transition is hard. That's the evidence of it, is that when you try to move, you try to transition, you try to open a new chapter in your life, try to join the Air Force, try to join the Navy, Army, Marines, cool. All that's doesn't matter the choice. Well, it does, but within wisdom standards, transition is hard when your life is out of order. If you try to move houses and there's just hoarding stuff, my house, like you see my little TV shelf thing. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 of the shelves are empty. I don't need stuff everywhere. I don't need 10,000 candles. Everything serves a function in this house. You see on top of the cabinets, there's nothing up there. I don't need stuff up there. For what? All the cabinets are mostly empty. I have like 5 plates that came with the house. No. But when I move, everything is, I can pack my car up in a couple hours, if that. Maybe an hour, honestly. An hour. I can have everything packed up and ready to go because I plan, I schedule, I seek wisdom. So, as relates to your question, went to the list. I also have a bachelor's degree. I constantly talk about, and I have plenty of videos on this as far as getting a return on investment for your degree. Now, not everyone can join as an officer because it's highly competitive, especially in the Air Force. It's competitive, and it's not meant for everyone to get through. Everyone can't join the Air Force. Marines, everybody can join the Marines either. There's certain standards that must be met as far as pull-ups and fitness and what have you. So just keep those things in mind that there's certain standards and certain things that are meant to keep people out. But if you can get through the door, it will be a result of your wisdom or your decision making. Hope that helps. Again, search the channel, keywords, search my full name and the keyword for more specific videos on what you probably have questions about. Little Doggy says she reads Oscar Wilde, 20 years old. I see you. Little Doggy, 20 and out here living, and we'll talk. What you know about metaphysics? That's what's up. Little Doggy, connect with me on one of the social media platforms. Let's talk. Have some debates. Little Doggy asks, are you allowed to talk about what you are for or against inside the base? I know there are kinds of restrictions of freedom of speech in the military. This is something a lot of people don't realize. It's my personal philosophy. It is my personal philosophy that freedom does not exist. Period. I wrote about this in my ALS class, Airman Leadership School, that freedom does not exist. What we experience every single day on this earth is liberty. Liberty is, you have these boundaries, you have a ceiling, you have a floor. Do not leave. That's what the military is in most cases. Is you think you have freedom of speech, but no, you have liberty of speech. You have certain rules surrounding certain things. You go to the airport, you're going to figure out very quickly certain words that you cannot say. If you go to the hood, you see my people, you go to the barbershop, you go to the soul food restaurant, you go to the gym, and you hooping on a Saturday morning, you're going to realize very quickly certain words you cannot say. I don't make the rules. It's not up to me. You understand? Like, it's not up to me. You go on a military base, there's certain rules you cannot say. You go to the Pentagon, there's certain words you cannot say. It's liberty. It's liberty. You're driving down the highway. There are certain speed limits you cannot drive at. Certain speed limits you cannot exceed. Certain laws you cannot break. If you're drinking alcohol, certain vehicles you cannot drive. It's not up to me. So, liberty. It basically explains reality. Freedom is a beautiful concept of no restrictions, do whatever you want. You're free to do whatever you think, say, want, go, wear, all that. Some people would love to think that you have freedom. 6ix9ine is one of those people that would think, I do whatever I want, but you don't. You don't. You can do whatever you want. Try to walk on a military base. Can't do it. Won't do it. So, we have liberty. We have liberty. Freedom of speech, it's a concept. It's a beautiful concept. It's a philosophy. It's an ideology. But in reality, what we have is liberty of speech. There's certain rules surrounding everything. Like it or not. Like it or not. It's not up to me. It's not up to you. We would like to change some things. And I wish I could say this. I wish I could do this. I wish I could wear this. Even on this channel, this is a civilian YouTube channel made by a military member. I can't come on here and just say anything I want to say. I would have a lot more views if I could. I would make a lot more money on here if I could just say whatever I wanted to say. And just, I don't like this about this and who's this and power and politics and religion and philosophy. I don't like this. I can't do it. And YouTube, being while in the military, has taught me how to be articulate, how to get a point across without crossing the boundaries. staying within bounds, but still getting a point across. How to convey a level of understanding to someone without crossing the barriers. And mind you, doing it live. A lot of people can't do this because you have to change. I don't talk like this all the time. Like a lot of people watch my streams and they think I'm just this deep thinker who's just over the top, just constantly analyzing and debating and just, oh my God, the morality and the ethics and the cosmology and the deepness of the universe. It's too much. I can't do that all day long. Sometimes I just want to sit on the couch and cuddle. You understand? I just want to rub her feet and just whisper sweet nothings while sipping on a Truly, watching House of Cards or something. That's the normal me. I go to the gym and I just hoop. I just play basketball. I'm not talking about the ethics of cheating. No, I will cheat while I'm playing basketball. I'm cheating while I'm playing Uno. I'm doing all that. So, yeah, we don't have freedom. We have liberty. Words have meaning. We have to define words. Hope that helps. Great question. Great question. Giovanni Zabala asks, what's your meal plan to stay in shape? Do you drink Coronas or no beer saline? I am the worst person to ask this question, you understand? Self-admittedly, I am the worst person to ask this question. It's why I don't make fitness content on this channel. Obviously, you see I'm different. You see it, bro. I'm different, man. Shoulders, hugging the sleeves, bro. I'm out here chest day. I'm about to go train chest after this anyway. I grow muscle very easily. Unfortunately, a lot of fat comes with it due to my diet. If I want to build a physique that is Instagram ready, chest naked, all that, I have to eat 99% protein only for my body type. I discovered it in tech school. Before I joined the military, I was shredded. I promise you. I have one picture that I haven't posted. I have one picture of me shredded, and that's the most shredded I've ever been. And I was eating only chicken thighs. That was it. You know, obviously chicken thighs have fat. Chicken breasts are probably, well, definitely more leaner. But yeah, if you're asking me a question, what's my meal plan? My meal plan varies on a lot of different things. But if I want to be in shape as it relates to a PT test, the ability to run, lift heavy, do push-ups, my endurance, all those things. I do a spin class every single morning. My meal plan is mostly, if not only, protein. That's it. Protein and moderate fats. Notice I didn't say any carbs, no healthy carbs, no complex carbs, no sweet potatoes, no rice. No, because I grow fat. I gain fat easily overnight. Also, I gain muscle overnight. I trained shoulders yesterday and my shoulders pop. Like I hug the sleeves easily. This is not a tiny shirt. This is extra large. I'm hugging sleeves on this because I grow muscle easily. Unfortunately, it comes with fat as well. So I follow keto protocols, keto protocols, also carnivore protocols where I eat mostly meat paws. I follow those protocols essentially. Dr. Ted Naiman, a bunch of other doctors, just search carnivore diet. I have videos on that on this channel, carnivore. It's amazing as it relates to mental health. I feel so much clear. I'm fasted right now. I haven't eaten. It's 11:53 a.m., almost 12 noon here in New Mexico. I haven't eaten yet. I fast in the mornings and drink this. And when I do eat breakfast, it's usually bacon or chicken, chicken thighs, chicken breasts. All I have in my freezer is chicken. And occasionally I'll have pork. That's about it. Great question. So in full disclosure, when it comes to discipline, I have many different weaknesses, but the two that stand out are beautiful women and junk food. Simple as that. The most disciplined person in the world still has weaknesses. I can get up at 2:30, 7 days a week without flinching. 2:30 a.m. I can go to bed at 11 o'clock at night and wake up at 2:30 a.m. without flinching. I go to the gym 7 days a week easily. No discipline required. I go to the gym easily. But when it comes to junk food and the smile of a beautiful woman, my knees buckle. I discovered those weaknesses. I didn't decide them. I discovered them. So we all have weaknesses. We all have struggles. But constantly, I always try to preach my weaknesses just as much as I preach my strengths. So people don't, because it's real easy to get a God complex on somebody and say, well, they don't struggle with nothing. They just go through life and just cruising through everything. And no, I struggle. Junk food, I love it. Sweets and candy and pizza and burgers and mozzarella sticks and French toast sticks from Sonic and waffles. Waffles. I love junk food. I love it. So yeah, we all got weaknesses, but we constantly work on them. I don't drink Coronas. I drink Trulies. I drink the Bud Light, like the low calorie or low sugar alcohol drinks. I keep some stuff on the rack, some liquor, tequila, Ciroc. You feel me? A little Douce, you feel me? A little something for you got guests over. You gotta have something presentable. Sparkling waters, what have you. What else we got? What we got? We got 26 people watching. I see you. If y'all don't mind, 26 people, if you would just slightly tap the like button. Just touch it a little bit. Touch it a little bit. Anyway, also, I apologize for not giving out anything, although I've asked a lot of questions. I don't have a credit card. You should be ashamed of yourself, little doggy. You've asked more questions than I've ever gotten from a single person. You should be ashamed of yourself, and I rebuke thee openly. Nah, it's cool. It's cool. It's ask me anything. There's no limits. As long as you got questions, and as long as I'm streaming, happy to answer. My content's free, unless it's actually behind the paywall. Content's free. So, but yeah, thank you for the thought. Thank you for the support. I'm grateful. Lauren Anderson says, I wish more people knew how diverse the Air Force is and what it has to offer. Hopefully the pandemic lets more people who are considering joining the service see how they can make a difference. Facts. U.S. is one of the few militaries that is hugely diverse, and it's why we're so valuable, is that we have all these different cultures and thought processes and ideologies and philosophies mixed together, and we benefit from that. Just as much as we suffer from it, we benefit as well. So, great point. Jonas runs track. New member of the channel, I see you. Are there ways to rank up early instead of waiting a long time to reach the rank? When testing for staff sergeant, is it intense? So if you follow the rules, wait, did I skip? I skipped my super chat. Wadner, how is the food in the Air Force? What's your favorite food in the Air Force? The food in the Air Force, depending on the base, depending on the DFAC, Keesler, easily top 3 DFACs in the United States Air Force. Easily top 3. Keesler Air Force Base, Mississippi. You will struggle to find a better DFAC than the 2 that are in the triangle. I'm telling you, you walk in there and the food just meets you at the door like, come here. And you just break bread immediately. Like the food just runs to you. Keesler is definitely top 3, if not number. There's a brand new DFAC at Andrews, but I mean, that doesn't speak to the food, it speaks to the building. Top favorite foods, I don't really have a top 5, but I have a number 1 favorite food from a DFAC. Anywhere in the United States Air Force having to do more so with the contract and companies that we deal with from a contractual standpoint as far as the food and where it comes from. The United States Air Force DFAC has the best onion rings. And I kid you not, on everything I love, on my mama. The United States Air Force DFAC has the best onion rings I've ever had in my life. Don't argue with me. I promise you. I don't know what they're putting in them. I don't know how they cook them. But they are the best onion rings I've ever had in my life. I don't know how much they cost, what company they are, but they're fire as all get out. When I tell you, when you catch a fresh batch of onion rings and the mugs hit you, I'm telling you, the tears begin to flow like you've never seen. Like, I'll be in my bed just like, bro, am I worthy? Like, am I even worthy to partake of these, bro? Were these designed for me? Like, were these supposed to go to some general's house, but they came to the DFAC instead? I'm telling you, bro, they're life-changing. They're life-changing. Number 1 is onion rings. The other 4, hit and miss. I will say honorable mention, probably number 2 on the list. Air Force Shop at Pizza. I might get some there might be some people disagree on this, but United States Air Force Shop at Pizza. Number 1 pizza I've ever had in the Air Force context. It's up there with Domino's. I don't know what they do to it. I hear tell from some locals here at Cannon that the commissary is on 10 with their subs. I have to investigate now. You understand? I can't just take their word for it. But apparently, our commissary here is world renowned for their sub sandwiches. So it's just top 3 right there. A little easy top 3. Appreciate Super Chat. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you. What else we got? I'm skipping over stuff. All right. So Jonas run tracks. Are there ways to rank up early instead of waiting a long while to reach that rank? When testing for staff sergeant is intense. There's something called a step promotion. It's quite rare. Step promotion where they just give you a rank. You see this in a lot of different positions where if you're in the Air Force band, they like just give you tech sergeant. If you're like singing or playing an instrument or something, they just give you rank, like just give it to you. Rank is more so an indication of what you should know and how much you get paid. But that's it. So rank technically could be given. If you watch Band of Brothers, you'll see something called a field promotion where you're out in the field. Of course, in the Army context, they just gave him a commission, a field commission. Like just, all right, you're LT now, take it. And all that really changed is your responsibilities and how much you get paid. So besides that, which the few exceptions of promotion and whatnot, if you follow the rules, if you follow regulations, if you have great timing and a little bit of luck, you should promote every single year up to staff sergeant. Every year you're in the Air Force, provided probably if you're in I would say like a 6-year contract, you should promote every single year you're in the military. That's what I did. That does take a little bit of luck. I believe I made videos on this, so I'm not going to go all the way into it. But essentially, you need BTZ. So you should aim for that if you want to promote early. That's your first opportunity to promote early is BTZ, 6 months before your peers. And then staff sergeant, just making it first. Now, when testing for staff sergeant, is it intense? Not really, because most people are not studying. Most people are not studying. Most people are cramming. Most people are waiting till the last second to kind of look over something, look over the CDCs, or kind of briefly look over, download the app real quick and just scroll through some stuff. Most people are not studying an hour a day consistently. Holidays, weekends, most people are just not that disciplined enough to do something that consistently. That's where you have the advantage if you choose to do so. That's how I made staff first time. It's just studying an hour a day consistently. Weekends, holidays. I don't like doing things twice. So I realized, what is most people not doing for this test? Preparing. So in most cases, when I have a chance to prepare for something, I will beat no matter who you put up against me, because I'm willing to get up at 2:30 and be consistent with the small things. I'm not this hugely intellectual, high IQ person. No, I just prepare. So that's the way you approach promotion: is look at the requirements, look at the methods, and prepare, study. So hope that helps. Great question. What else we got? I'm skipping a lot of questions because I'm not going to play the games. A lot of questions will get skipped if it's too much. Giovanni Zavala, if you have debt that went into collections because of COVID and you plan to pay it off, do you think I can still enlist, or would they tell me to pay it off first? 10K debt. Short answer, I don't know. One thing I do know is that all your debt will have to be addressed in some way or another, meaning you will need to be paying something towards it. And you need some type of evidence or proof that you are doing so. One thing the Air Force process does, the recruiting process, it addresses all the chaos in your life all at once. It's a snapshot of your life. So any debt, medical bills, anything in collections, it will probably have to be addressed at some point, and they will tell you, you need to address this, you need to address this, you need to address this. It's a part of life. It's something that you should be doing yourself, but the military process, the recruiting process, will help you and tell you you need to address the following areas of your life. So it may not have to be paid off completely. I don't know that specifically, but you probably will have to address it in some way or another, meaning you need to be paying towards it. And that's something you can do right now, provided you're employed, excuse me. Let's sneeze, pump faking. You will have to probably address it in some way or another. So I will get started on that now and just start paying towards it. So hope that helps. Yeah, COVID hit a lot of people. Hit a lot of people tough. It's unfortunate. I don't wish that on anybody. You know, a lot of people lost family members and friends, and yeah, it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year, and we're just now kind of seeing a little bit of daylight on the opposite side, depending on your state, where you're seeing some restrictions being let up and, you know, outside being opened. And so I wish you the best of luck and, you know, the ability to, you know, join and what have you. So yeah, get to work. We're all in the same boat in different areas where we're all trying to work on something. We're all trying to achieve something. We're all trying to get somewhere. And so you might be working to get in the Air Force and you're paying off some debt. Matter of fact, quick shout out. I can't think of her name right now, but she was I reposted her channel. In fact, I probably look it up real quick. She was in the recruiting process for just about 4 years, and she finally is headed to tech school right now. I think she's in tech school currently, and you just kind of see that kind of perseverance. 4 years of trying to achieve something, and being told no or not yet or you're not ready yet, and she's here now. Her name is Dominga Shatan, something like that. Dominga essentially. But yeah, she made it. She made it. 4 years of trying, 4 years of being told no, 4 years of being. I thought I was permanently disqualified. Now I got to get a waiver for this. Got to wait for this. Got to lose weight over here. Got to do this. Got to figure out a way to overcome this. She did it. And now she's here. So you can do the same thing. You got this. So what else we got? Jacob Owens. Yes, I am at Canon right now. I'm stationed here. Been here for about a month. I'm planning on doing a update on Canon as far as likes, dislikes, things I'm adjusting to. So look out for that. Nelson Dixon, what are my current habits? I don't have many things I do every single day. The few things I do every single day is the time I get up and going to the gym every single day. That's really it, honestly. I post a video every day, but it varies on topics and you know, usually what I'm posting, what have you. But usually the number one thing that can't change is the time I get up every day. That allows me to do everything else. Doesn't matter what time I go to bed last night or how tired I am or what I was drinking last night, when I went out or had fun or whatever. Doesn't matter. If it's a weekday, Monday through Friday, and a lot of cases Saturday, I get up at the same time. I have to. Going to the gym is easy, so it's not really something I'm disciplined with. It's just something I just do, kind of. I go hoop, play volleyball, whatever. But yeah, the number one thing that you should probably focus on as far as establishing good habits, establishing discipline, is pick a time that you're going to get up and do not change it for any reason. Do not change it for any reason. Now, it becomes difficult in the military where you're switching time zones, you're moving around the country, around the world, where you have to adjust. But again, that's how you reestablish your circadian rhythm, your sleep habits, your sleep patterns, getting up at the same time every single day. That's what I will focus on. That's what I advise other people to focus on, is when you're trying to establish new patterns, a new clean slate, you're trying to start over, set your alarm clock at one time and do not change it. And set it at a time that encompasses life as it throws things at you. If you got children, you got a family, obviously there's a lot of variables to try to account for. But the number one thing I focus on is, especially as it relates to my discipline, is that I can't be disciplined at everything. It's impossible. Something will drop. I can't be disciplined at everything. But the one thing I focus on is the question that you should ask yourself. What's the one thing I can do every single day that allows me to be successful in the most other areas, if not all the other areas? The time I get up every single day. That is the one thing that I throw all my discipline at first. And then after that, I have leftovers. And I give some to the government. And you get a little bit of this. I give some little spin class. I get a little effort over there. My little chest day, I give a little some of that. Eating, get a little bit of that. My work when it comes to effort at work or being a supervisor or volunteering, a little bit of effort over there. But the time I get up gets all my effort, because that's usually the hardest thing. So hope that helps. It's a great place to start when it comes to establishing good habits. What else we got? This is probably going to be a record in terms of my longest live stream. Why not do it on Memorial Day? It's necessary. Almighty Moreland, I see you, bro. I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I'm out here. Somebody named their channel OPSEC. Interesting. PFC in the National Guard here. 15H aircraft, hydraulic, pneumatic, whatever the word is. Hydraulic. Repair in a year in already, but I'm wanting to be a federal agent. I'm going back to school for criminal justice. Should I change my NOS too? I'm not sure how that works in the Army as far as switching jobs, but I don't think it would hurt if that's what you want to do as far as becoming a federal agent. Being a agent within your military branch is the greatest way to probably transition into that federal position, which, I mean, you're already federal in terms of being in the Army. But as far as position transition, that's probably the best way to do so. So yeah, I highly, if you have the option, definitely do so. Definitely do so. This is a very important question you must consistently ask. Am I worthy? As long as we're asking that question, we're asking the right questions. Super chat. Y'all been showing love. M. Woloff, $2 super chat. If you could learn any language, what would it be? It's a great question. If I could learn any language, what would it be? Russian. Out of all the languages that I hear and observe and you see in the movies, Russian sounds the most intimidating. I would love to learn Russian. Having nothing to do with my position in the military or anything else. If I could just speak any language and just roll up on people, hit them with it, and they just, they weren't ready for it. Yeah. Russian would be the number one language that if I could learn any language, I mean, there's apps for it, so I might as well download it and mess around with it. But yeah, Russian is the number one language I would love to learn. I'm low key fluent in Spanish, enough to eavesdrop and kind of respond small conversations. But yeah, Russian. Great question. Mustaf, would you say the pains of building an audience is worth it? And what's your end goal with you in digital space? It's definitely worth it, especially with those who have entrepreneurial aspirations. You're probably gonna need an audience at some point, whether you're writing a book or you're creative in whatever space. It really doesn't matter. At some point, if you're trying to sell something, which we all are selling something, you're gonna need an audience. And it's much easier to write a book after you have an audience than to write a book and try to advertise for it. Who are you gonna advertise to? I don't do a lot of advertising on this channel. I do throw some in there as far as what the the offerings I have on this channel. But yeah, it's a lot easier to sell anything when you have an audience already. That's why most producers, most entrepreneurs, they study attention. They study what people pay attention to the most. 6ix9ine is probably the most expert at this. Is he knows where people's attention will be. He knows how to command attention. Now his methods, obviously in the currency of clouts, it's probably not the best long term. Just simply troll people constantly. But you see the results of it. It works. So it's something to think about. The end goal with my digital space is it's a passive income stream. It's something that combines something I like doing, if not love doing, and which is thinking and answering questions, asking questions, studying, learning, discovering. And then also it's on a space where you get paid for it. And it's passive because it grows by itself when I'm not actively doing it. When I turn this camera off, I still get paid for it. So even with super chats and YouTube memberships and Patreon and selling merch and what have you, I get paid to do something I enjoy doing. And that's really kind of the whole point, is that you don't want to be working a job that you hate doing your entire life. So my focus has always been to try to find something I enjoy doing. And even if I have to do something I don't enjoy, like the Air Force, I still have something along with it that keeps me balanced, So great question. Stacy Madair asks, I'm currently a cadet in the Air Force ROTC. What do you think is lacking from leadership in your experience? And what do you want to see in new leaders, if anything? That's a great question, Stacy. What do I think is lacking in leadership from my experience? I think there's an over-obsession with the chain of command. This is just my personal opinion. I don't speak for the Air Force whatsoever. But yeah, there's over-obsession with the chain of command as far as how we communicate as humans. If I'm struggling, am I required to go straight to my supervisor if I get along with my flight chief more? If we're the same age, let's say I have a family issue and my supervisor doesn't have a family, am I required to go to my supervisor to discuss that issue, or can I go to my flight chief or senior first and jump the entire 4 people in between? One thing I'm focusing on as a newly promoted NCO supervisor, now I'm finally in someone else's chain of command now for the first time. I'm focusing on being approachable, something historically I've been horrible at. I've been horrible at being approachable, smiling, open body language, giving effort to a conversation, giving eye contact. I've historically been bad at it. And so my whole approach here at Canon has been, now I'm a supervisor and someone actually has to look up to me for whatever reason. I need to be that person that someone can see in public, see in the office, see in the corner, and they know I can approach him and he's not going to bite my head off. I don't think he's going to bite my head off. I can approach him with faith that I can have a conversation. I can get help or get perspective or direction from that person. That's my whole focus as being a new leader now, is being approachable. Also giving effort beyond my own hurt, beyond my own time and patience and caring. No, give effort until there's a solution that actually benefits the person that came to me for help. If I can help and give effort. Something I previously experienced in Alaska was seeing my leadership try again, go back, ask again, try again, push, press, apply pressure. I witnessed that in my own situation. So it's something I practice now as far as being that for someone else. And what do I want to see in the new leaders, if anything? Just more of the same, more human-like approach to a given workplace. Yes, you have insignia. As soon as you commission, you're going to outrank everyone in the enlisted force, everyone. As soon as you commission with any amount of rank, you will outrank the 30-year, 40-year chief master sergeants of the Air Force immediately, purely due to your position. You have no leverage, but you have position. They have all the leverage. So realizing that and just understanding that humans are humans and not losing track of that at any point. Because you're going to have a 40-year-old that you outrank. How do you approach that person? You're going to have an 18-year-old that's an E1. How do you approach that person? Just bringing that same level of respect to the entire listed force and realizing at some point I'm going to need their help. Not losing track of leverage, not losing track of the variables that are at play, the principles that are at play, but realizing we're all humans at the end of the day. The uniforms are going to come off at some point, and that at some point I'm going to need to connect with somebody on a human level. And that takes great amounts of self-awareness. It's not something you get over time, but if you study wisdom, you realize that it comes a lot easier when you ask for it, when you seek it. So great question. Best of luck in your training. What else we got? I'm graduating college in 2 years. My boyfriend is in the Marine Corps and we plan to get married in a few years. If I join the Air Force Reserves, would it be really hard to live with him? Probably. Finding a joint environment, it's not impossible, but you're probably going to be looking for a base that has both Marines and Air Force. Now, of course, you mentioned your Air Force Reserves, so you won't be working as if you're active duty. So it probably would be more possible. You just have to find your reserve unit and work with that distance issue as far as when you have to report and when you got to do your traditional training or whatever situation you'll be find yourself in. But there will be an element of distance that you will have to address as far as either where you live to work or where you work to where your husband is. And so it's something you have to address your priorities. But yeah, it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. You're not the first person to be joint, married joint branches or what have you. And there are plenty of joint environments that are conducive to two different branches having individuals married to each other. It's possible and it's done quite often. So you got to be very intentional. So hope that helps. Lauren Anderson asks, what's the biggest gem you've gained regarding financial literacy? It would have to be, Well, the simple one, the obvious one will be spend less money than you make. The obvious answer will be to spend less money than you make consistently and continuously over time. You will notice that money accrues when you do so. That's a simple answer. More complex answer, and honestly, it's not really complex. It's just to extend that answer would be to automate your savings. Automate it, meaning you're not consciously saving money. It's saving without your input. You set it. I want 30% going to TSP. I want 30% going to my savings, 30% going to my investment fund or my portfolio, whatever. And you leave it alone. You don't touch it. You don't look at it. You don't peek at it. You don't pinch off of it. You leave it there and you let it grow. You're not investing in AMC where you're just buying, selling. No, you invest it, you save it, and you leave it alone. That alone is probably the number one thing that most people struggle with, is leaving stuff alone. Save the money and don't touch it. So yeah, simple answer, spend less money than you make, automate your savings. Automate your savings and put it out of reach. You should not be able to just swipe your card and access your savings. There should be friction between you accessing your savings account and your checking account. They should be greatly separate. Now, this whole conversation about credit cards that you use your credit card daily and then you pile up your points or your miles or what have you, and then you pay it off every month with your checking account. It's a safer option in terms of it's easier to replace your credit card money if it gets stolen than to replace your checking account money if it gets stolen. It's very, very much difficult to replace checking account money. Credit card money, it's not your money. So of course they're going to work to get their money back because you're not spending, your money wasn't stolen. It was the credit card place's money that was stolen. So there's a whole argument for that as far as how to properly use a credit card. I'm not going to get into that because most people don't have discipline for it, including myself. I don't have no business having a credit card, but we need one. So that's the short answer to your question. Hope that helps. What else we got? Jacob Owens going to be here. Wrong one. Jacob Owens will be here in July. Hit me up, man. Hit me up. We'll grab a drink. Idris CK, can I invest in crypto when I join in the Air Force? Will my security clearance be revoked for that reason? There is a huge community of airmen that are around me currently that all they talk about and all they spend their time on is cryptocurrencies. It's 100% legal to invest in. It's just like investing in any other stock like Apple or Amazon. And your security clearance has nothing to do with it. Now, hear this. If you, by a miraculous miracle, you hit it big and you bought this random Raymond coin that nobody knew about, it's crazily undervalued, you bought it at the ground floor, it hits $1, you become a millionaire. Not only will you lose your security clearance, but you probably get put out the military because they don't want millionaires serving in the military. And I'm not sure there are any millionaires outside of probably stock portfolios of people that are serving actively in the military. So keep that in mind. But yeah, you can definitely invest in cryptocurrencies while you're in the military. Here's my thought process on cryptocurrencies. It should not be your entire portfolio. And I don't think most people are investing like that. But if you are, don't do it. Don't do it. It should be a part of your portfolio, just like gold and international stocks and the S&P 500. Like investing and being diversified in your investments. So if you invest 1%, less than 1% in crypto, cool, go for it. Go for it. But as far as 75%, 80%, 90%, no. That's just my personal opinion on crypto. By no means am I a financial expert, even though I do work in finance. I'm not in that type of finance. I'm military finance, budget. Anyway, that's the point. So yes, to answer your question, yes, you can invest in cryptocurrencies while you're in the military and you will not lose your security clearance. Hope that helps. This is a great question. Rayan, Alto, Wan. Who am I? I ask that question every single day. Every single day I ask that question. Wadner, do you listen to hip hop, R&B? What's your favorite artist from both genres? I listen to both. My favorite hip hop artist would have to be, historically speaking, like if I was to encompass my entire history listening to hip hop, it would be Lil Wayne. Wayne is probably the most gifted person I've ever heard with words. his use of similes, metaphors, comparisons, just the way he can twist a word to have multiple meanings right in front of your face, right in front of your ears. And like you didn't even notice he was doing it, but I'm like, bro, he different. Lil Wayne is my favorite hip hop artist. Honorable mention, Kendrick. I don't really mess with J. Cole like that. Every now and then he'll surprise me, but J. Cole is just no. I can't do it. Meek Mill. Meek Mill is, in terms of gym environments where like bruh, the world is out to get me. I'm out here trying to move some weights. I'm trying to be different. Meek Mill could come in there and say, bruh, we in the streets, bruh. Lift that weight, bruh. Put in some work. Rick Ross be out there. Yeah. Drake. Drake is hit and miss as well. Not my cup of tea with like the singing too much, and yeah, sometimes it's too much. But yeah, Lil Wayne, Meek Mill, probably top of the list. King Von, I mess with him a little bit. Dirk. Who else I got? Oh, Young and May. Young and May is my favorite female rapper, but she's up there just my favorite rappers in general. Young and May is so slept on, people. You listen to her stuff and like I promise you, like I can't think of anybody who competes with her. Maybe Remy Ma. Like I can't think of many people that competes with Young and May in most cases. Like male, female, I don't care. She spits. Listen to her freestyles. Who competes with her? I would love to see a versus between Meek Mill and Young and May on just freestyling. That would I haven't seen any verses yet. I don't watch them, but I would love to see a versus between Meek Mill and Young and May freestyling strictly. Like that would be dope. That would be dope. But yeah, Young and May is slept on. She's one of my favorite rappers as well. R&B is a whole category that I try to avoid because it puts me in my feels ASAP. You know, I'll be at work just like crying, woe is me. You know, it's too much sometimes. You know, R&B is different, but Chrisette Michele, Anthony Hamilton, Blackstreet. Who else I got out there? I got so many favorite artists. Let me see what my playlist got on it. I'm trying to put y'all on real quick. You know, I try to help y'all with y'all playlist. I know a lot of y'all be listening to dusty music. And we can't have that, you understand? So we're gonna help y'all real quick. Get y'all a little couple of R&B artists to take home with you. This is what you call providing value, is really giving people what they need. And so I'll give y'all a little bit. Case, what y'all know about that? Case, Missing You. JP Cooper, I don't know if y'all heard of him. He's different. Sinead Harnett. My favorite song is probably Pulling Away featuring Gallant. Sinead Harnett and Gallant. That's probably my favorite song, and it's probably not even close. My favorite like R&B feel song. That song is easily top three. Easily top three. Who else I got? I got Miesa, Overdrive, Sabrina Claudio. Oh my God, man. She needs a man in her life. You understand? Like, I give her my whole check. My whole check. Emotional Oranges. Amazing. I got Chris Brown on here, Jay Holiday, Anthony David, Carmen Rogers, Anthony Hamilton, I mentioned, Mario, Yuna. Oh my God. Yuna, what? I got a little bit of Wale, Usher on here, Elena, Janae Aiko. Bruh, I'm telling you now. Got Whitney Houston on here. We're talking about Tank, one of the GOATs. XXX Tentacion. I don't know why he on this playlist. I got Prince on here. Who else we got? Life Jennings. Y'all don't even know about Life Jennings. See, y'all understand? Y'all don't know anything about Life Jennings. You guys are ignorant to the fact that he exists, which is unfortunate. Don't judge me, but I do have R. Kelly on here. Do not judge me. I beg of thee. Please do not judge me. But I don't know how y'all just get rid of music all of a sudden. Sam Cooke, Greg Gould, I got Gallant on here again. Ooh, I mean, he a beast. And then my actual R&B playlist. So what I just read off was my vibes playlist. That's for certain activities that you must be prepared for. You don't just randomly play music. There needs to be a rhyme and reason. But my actual R&B list. Who else I got on here? Let me read a couple more, and then we'll move on. This is my R&B and chill playlist. You understand? Beyonce, what? I only got a couple songs by her. In Vogue, what y'all know about that? Tony Braxton, Mary J, what? Tamar Braxton. We got Neo. What y'all know about that? Trey Songz. Trey Songz has like 2 songs on my entire playlist. Like 2. Savin Streeter, Marion, don't really mess with him too much. Nell Jones, Denise Williams, Charlie Wilson, P&B Rock, Joe, Prince again, Bryson Tiller, Childish Gambino, Tina Turner, Nelly, Khaled. I listen to a lot of people. Boys to Men, Sierra. Sierra. Yeah, I got Sierra again. Drew Hill, Music Soul Child. Yeah, Trevor Jackson. I listen to a lot of music. Music is designed to create a feeling, and so I pay great attention to who's on my playlist, and being a musician myself, I pay attention to chord progressions and melodies and harmonies. I enjoy quality music. I listen to country. I listen to rock. I listen to everything, and so great question. I've never really kind of gave people insight into my music like that. So, great question. Hans K asks, "Hey man, how many people lie at MEPS?" I don't know. What do they have access to? So realize it's U.S. government. It's the U.S. government. So just realize what the U.S. government has access to. The U.S. government did not become the #1 superpower in the world by being surprised by things. That's why we have a huge and prosperous, intelligent community. That's really the whole point, is to not be surprised. We need intelligence. We need information. And with that information, we're able to do things and accomplish things and prevent things. So just think about how you stand up to the U.S. government. That you can't escape the IRS. That's just one small little branch. You can't escape the NSA, the FBI, messing around with PPP loans and all this foolishness. So to go to MEPS and lie, it's not, my policy is silence or honesty. That's my policy when it comes to MEPS. Silence and honesty. Not answering questions too long. Like the way I answer these questions, where I just in-depth, long, drawn out answers, I do that intentionally. But when I was at MEPS, no. Yes. I don't know. I think. Like short answers. You'll need long, drawn out answers to simple questions. So I don't advise anyone to lie at MEPS or lie in general or lie at all. Lying just means you get caught later. That's all that means. So silence and honesty is my policy. Hope that helps. I believe I have read some Robert Kiyosaki. I can't think of any books I've read by him, though. He sounds familiar, though. Appreciate you, Wendy. Appreciate you. Almighty Moreland with a controversial take. Kendrick is the best rapper to ever pick up a microphone. Arguable. I would say he's probably the best at storytelling. He probably has maybe the most substance out of any other rapper. But there's different categories in terms of why people listen to hip hop or why people listen to music. I don't think he meets every single category. Like Drake is probably the most diverse in terms of substance, entertainment, club, radio. He checks so many boxes. Whereas Kendrick just kind of gives you mashed potatoes and steak every single time. Like you rarely get a club banger from Kendrick. Whereas Drake will fit every single category on a single album. Like he'll just give you everything you need to feed your family and to put up something for the winter. Kendrick will just give you straight steak. I'm like, bro, all right, can I get some chicken fingers? Like, nope, steak, bro, steak. So he's different. Wadner says, is it a tie between J. Cole, DMX, Nas, Jay-Z, Tupac? Rest in peace, DMX. Rest in peace, Tupac as well, but arguable. Jay-Z is one of those rappers that I came across a while back, but he never hooked me with his lyrics. His lyrics didn't really seem that profound. I don't think he was really saying much. Like, I don't know. Sneed, I see. Emotional Oranges, one of my favorite groups. Sundays is probably one of my favorite songs. Sundays by Emotional Oranges. I listened to a little bit of Sade. I can't name a single song by her. I can't name you a single song by Brandy, but I listened to both of them. Mahalia. What else we got? I'm not sure who that is. Joji. What should we come on? I can't. Jojo, somebody. Yeah. Finally made it to the end of the chat, people. This has been a long live stream, the longest to date. Let me check to see if anybody posted any questions on the community page. But this has been an enjoyable live stream. I enjoyed it. Ooh. So yeah, we'll end it here. Cool. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Dang, that's deep. We'll end it with this. Is Drake the Michael Jackson of our time? Well, he just won a Artist of the Decade. I don't see how he can't be. But it's hard to say that because Michael Jackson transcends generations. I personally, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but I didn't listen to Michael Jackson until he died. And once I discovered his catalog, I don't know how Drake stacks up to a Michael Jackson's catalog. I don't think it's even close. I mean, Drake's worldwide as well, but Michael Jackson is worldwide, universe-wide. Like, the king of pop. What is the king? What is Drake king of? Toronto? He's not even from America. Like, he's not king of any major city in the US. Michael Jackson is the king of pop, the whole genre. Drake is up there. Like, I don't think he has much competition in where he sits in the hierarchy of hip hop. But king of charts, arguable. Probably king of charts. I think a lot of that could be due to the label and kind of just pushing him, because could he do that same thing being independent? I don't know. I don't know. But compare Drake to Michael Jackson, that seems a bit premature, a bit disrespectful. Because Michael Jackson, he's different. He's different. I can't name a single dance outside of the Tuesday Slide by Drake. And Michael Jackson was a dancer. Like, Chris Brown can barely get close to Michael Jackson in terms of talent. And Chris Brown has it all. Dancing, singing. Well, what can't Chris Brown do? He hoops, he gets buckets. Michael Jackson was just in his own lane. I don't know. So it's a great question. Is Drake the Michael Jackson of our time? I can't think of anybody who's past Drake in terms of his climb, his ascension. But yeah, Michael Jackson might be a bit much. Drake is probably like the LeBron of our time. Probably a better comparison. Drake is chasing Michael Jackson, but again, they're in two different categories. Hip hop and pop are greatly different. They both sing, but again, Michael Jackson was talented, like to his bones, like talented. So I don't know. It's a great conversation, but yeah, we'll end it there. I appreciate everybody tuned in, everybody who watched, everybody who contributed, everybody who asked a question. I'm grateful. Thank you. It always makes these more enjoyable when I get a wide variety of questions. And I kind of plan on making these live streams more diverse, not just strictly Air Force content, not just strictly philosophy content, but like talking about everything I like talking about, sports and religion and philosophy, and we'll be avoiding and dancing around the politics and music and what have you. Like things that I engage in. I talk about everything. I study everything, but being able to talk about these different topics just makes a live stream and it makes my content more diverse as well. So thanks. I appreciate everybody who super chatted. Again, I'm grateful. Thank you. Quick reminder, if you want to connect with me, if you want to have a one-on-one conversation, if you need some new perspective, fresh perspective, you need somebody to call you on your BS, somebody to possibly help you with choosing a direction in your life, I offer one-on-one consultations. Strictly conversation. That's all it is. It's just conversation. It's nothing deep. It's nothing off the wall. It's just me asking questions, kind of helping you find the foundational of which direction you're going to choose in your life. It doesn't have to be deep either. It can just be conversation. And so, yeah, that's available. If you want a specific video made on a specific topic, links in the description. Buy me a coffee, and I'll definitely get that made for you. And then, yeah, all my social medias are in the description. Snapchat, Instagram. Hit me up. We'll talk. We'll chat. And yeah, that's the video. That's the live stream. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Say what's good to your boy.